Welcome back to the Concussion Protocol podcast, everybody. This has been a wild week 2. My name is Connor. With me, as always, are Chance and Chase. For a week that was supposed to be a little bit chill compared to week 1, there was a lot of wild stuff that happened. The whole country is wide open. The SEC is wide open. The ACC is wide open. The Group of 5 is wide open. I don't even know what's happening with the Big 12. I've finally, as of this morning, kind of scraped myself off of the floor, and took a shower and brushed my hair and
Connor, don't act like this is the first time you're taking a shower since the game. We know you haven't showered in a month.
It wasn't as much a shower as it was sitting in the fetal position crying, but
he showered himself with his tears.
Yeah. I cried enough to fill up the entire tub with them. That's for sure. It was a rough go. I don't need more cowbell in my life at any point ever again. I got all the cowbell that a boy could ask for.
That was so annoying on the broadcast too. It was such.
You know what's bad when even the commentators were talking about it the entire game.
Yeah.
I mean, even at halftime, when they were doing the welcome back, they were still you could hear it in the background through their monitors. That stadium was rocking, man. And it obviously affected some things. We'll get into all of it. We'll get into every last bit of it. We'll get into Chance somehow making the call of the century with the South Florida Bulls. I don't know what you did, what part of your soul you sold in order to make that prediction, but my friend, that is something else. To do it 2 in a row, and we're going to be taking some votes on whether or not Lightning is going to strike 3 times, but
we'll see.
We'll get into all of it.
I should have doubled down. I didn't.
He should have. Will he learn?
You should have expected that Florida player to spit in a guy's face right in front of the referee.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you expect that?
Did you know that I know voodoo?
Yeah, I believe you.
Apparently, that's the only logical explanation for any of this.
I believe you.
But let's go ahead.
Come on ASU as well.
Let's go ahead. Start off week 2 recap. Just because it's near and dear to my heart, and I'm talking right now. I got the talking stick. So yeah, let's go ahead. All the SEC fans who are going to call out the Big 12, who are going to call out Arizona State, let's go ahead. I'll own it. ASU looked like one of the worst football teams that I've seen in a long time in that first half. The Cowbells, shell-shocked. That was an explosive offense that ASU was not ready for in the first half. And Sam Leavitt, man, he as a diehard Sun Devil, Sam Leavitt's got some work to do. It is looking rough. A couple of things that I will die on these hills a little bit, and I will defend. There was a lot of refereeing shenanigans going on. There was a whole play where there was the most obvious chop block you've ever seen. And they literally, not only did they pick up the flag, but it resulted in a touchdown. That if that flag had not been picked up, that they threw and gave zero reason why that was not. I called it. I said out loud while watching it, that looked like a chop block to me. And then the flag started flying. I'm like, okay, this is coming back. And then they picked it up. As not a professional referee, it was the most obvious thing that I've ever seen. Now, I'll go the other end, and I'll be a mature adult and fully own. ASU lost that game. Fair and square, hands down. There were some shenanigans, but they didn't close it out. They did not punch it in 4 tries on the 1-yard line. They ran the exact same play over and over and over again, expecting a different result. And then, did we learn nothing from the Peach Bowl?
Live and die by the blitz,
when
baby.
The game is on the line. When the season is on the line, you have one thing that you know. This team, even more so than Texas, this team is entirely built around explosive pass plays. And you have the audacity, after crawling back, after letting your offense reconfigure, totally adapt, beautiful comeback. You take the lead with 98 seconds left on the clock. All you got to do is keep them out of the end zone. Just like overtime, a 4th and 13 play comes to mind, and you have the audacity to send a linebacker into blitz instead of dropping 3 high safeties. You could have taken the field goal. You could have brought that to overtime with the way your offense was playing. Mississippi State's offense is completely built off of boom or bust. All you had to do was keep him out of the end zone. If you break up that pass, we all know the air raid offense gets worse the closer into the red zone it is. I know the kicker's got a big leg. I would have much rather taken my chances with overtime. How do you let that happen? And this is going to be a long year if we're not able to adapt from those kind of mistakes. So if you guys want to go on more than that, feel free. But I'm going to own every bit of that loss. It was ugly in a lot of ways.
I got a couple things to say. First off, a lot of people get mad at the video games because for some reason cover 3 is blown all the time in video games, and people are like, that's not realistic. And maybe they're just running ASU's defense. I don't know, because I guess it is realistic. Connor, I didn't think the officiating was that bad. Yes, you're right on that play, but ASU did get 3 free points on a weak roughing the passer. I mean, that was garbage on the other end. They gifted them 3 points too, so it goes a little bit both ways. I think ASU just lost the game. It was sad. I have concerns about ASU. As far as a playoff team, I think they're dead to me. To be honest, I think they're a good team. I think they're a good 8-4 team right now. I know that sounds rough, but that's where I'm at. That offensive pass, the line, the pass protection is bad. Sam Levitt, I love and hate him after that. There's some things I love. We talked about a little bit. He's gritty. I mean, when you need to go get a first down, he will do whatever it takes to go get that first down. He'll run and he will put his body on the line. But ask him to throw a forward pass. Ooh, that's not a good ask apparently right now. Didn't he have like 84 yards or something bad like that?
He's got a little bit of Dak Prescott syndrome right now. Like when it is less than 8 yards of a pass, man, he is on it. But yeah, you start talking about a double-digit pass. Whoo! I don't care if they rushed 9 people and only dropped 2 into coverage. He'll find a way to miss that receiver. Looked there right now.
And a lot of the reason why they lost was on coaching. I mean, that's crazy. The cover 3 blown. There's no reason, no way you let somebody go deep. There was nobody back there. That's coaching. The 4th and goal, 3rd and goal, whatever, that's coaching too. You gotta punch that in. I mean, I don't know. I've just lost a lot of faith in them. They've got some big games coming up, so they'll be able to prove themselves again, but I don't know. They didn't show me that they win those games.
In their defense, and again, every season is so different. Like, you can't draw these things. But they also almost blew it against Mississippi State last year in week 2. And the only reason that they won that game was because of Cam Scatterbo. And obviously he's gone and he's doing really pretty impressive things on the Giants right now. If you've watched a little bit of his highlights in both pass protection and in the run game.
Have like 3 rushes for like 1 yard or -2 yards or something like that last week.
He had a couple of highlight reel moments. I didn't look up his entire stat line, but like
he had a great pass block. I saw that.
Yeah, and there were a couple times when he like literally was just throwing dudes around, getting fighting for a first down. But regardless, that game, Sam Levitt, I think, threw for like 62 yards or something like that. Like, it was awful. He had almost as bad of a night against them last year. And then that was kind of the turning point in the season. And so we'll see. The good thing about Sam Levitt is that he is like competitive almost to a fault. And so we will see. Texas State, obviously a big step down from an SEC team in general. They're going back home. we'll see if they adapt.
Although Texas
was
State
not
just
seeing a
beat
lot.
UTSA, your other team, so you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll
that
see.
Well, and like here's the other thing. Sorry, Jace. One last thing for me, and they'll shut up. They didn't look good against that FCS team either. What was it, Northern Arizona?
Yeah.
I didn't think they looked that good. So I mean, they haven't had a game where they're like, oh, they're putting something together. It's looked bad the whole season so far.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree. Go ahead,
I think
Chase.
I think we're getting to we're getting the mindset of an Arizona sports fan through Connor right here, and how torturous it is to be a fan of any of these teams in the Valley or outside the Valley in Arizona. It's how it feels for literally. There's no exceptions. Every one of our sports teams has left us with that like gut feeling of just like dread and pain and suffering from.
I still remember when Bradley Beal
just straight up dumb shit. Like how do you like Connor said, how do you not learn going cover 0 at the end of a game against a team that really just throws the ball? Why would you do that again? You think you would have learned from the end of last season in the bowl game that you don't do that, and they did.
You had one job.
You had like just don't let them go over. That's like all the 2-minute drill is do not let them go over the top. We can give them a kick. We can go to overtime. Although, like Chance said, I don't know why we're running it 4 plays in a row. I get that we started dominating the line, and then I don't know why we ran it 4 times in a row. They honestly should have, because they were committing to the run so much, done a pass on the second down. Or
it worked on the previous drive. They ran it all the way down the field on the previous drive, and then they passed as soon as they got to the goal line.
Once you get that obvious that you've now run it like 10 times in a row, why not do a bootleg? Sam Levitt has legs. Why not do a bootleg?
Sam Levitt was the fastest player on that field on offense.
So I don't know why we wanted to just absolutely beat a dead horse, just slam into this brick wall of SEC defense that just knows it's coming.
Power left.
And then I was actually very shocked to see that Dillingham called this the kickback. And it's not just because ASU has a history of bad kicking, but because it was at the one, and Dillingham is usually a very aggressive coach and calls like weird plays out of nowhere. And so for him to not double down on his offense right there, the second they kicked that field goal, I knew they were going to lose that game. I didn't know it was going to be a blown coverage that bad, but I had a feeling they were going to lose. I was like, why are we kicking it? We shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
So
let's put this in perspective. If you don't make it and it's 4th and goal and you pin him on the 1, is that still a good result?
Yeah, you might get a safety if you don't do a full-on blitz and get blown.
I mean,
the game was tied.
The other team is going to be very scared of getting a safety, so they might run, they might do a short screen or whatever, right? And you're going to waste a bunch of time on the clock doing that.
Yeah,
it's going to take them forever to get out of there if they do.
Genuinely worst case scenario is they would have had and they're a throw first team, and honestly, the little bit of running the Mississippi State did, ASU was completely stifling it, stuffing them the whole night. I think the longest run they might have had was like 4 or 5 yards. Like, it was gruesome in the run game, and so they would have had to pass their way out of it, and if they didn't get any yards out of it, and they didn't burn a lot of clock, then guess what? Now you got a minute and 10 seconds to drive, because then they would have had to punt out of their own end zone. You get the ball back at the 45-yard line. Now you just have to get in field goal range. Now you kick for the win as time expires. Like, it will never ever make sense to me. I hope they adapt.
Yeah. So ultimately, I do agree with Chance. ASU lost that game. It was coaching. It was Sam Levitt let his whole team down, let the school down. It was a bad game all around for ASU.
Yeah,
there was some hope in that second half and how they came back and they dominated. I don't have the same sentimentality that I think that they're completely out. They haven't lost a single Big 12 game. While this doesn't make me confident in their ability to beat Texas Tech and Utah and Baylor in a couple weeks, I still think they can, because ASU, just like all Arizona sports teams, for some reason, they have this crazy wavelength of can produce ridiculous games where they just overperform, and then they play down against a bad team. So
and again, ASU did not crack the top 25 until they were 8-2 last year.
Yeah,
but
the week that they played BYU, that was the first week that they were ranked last year. Nobody gave them credit for anything until that game. So they looked better every single game. Now, it's a crushing loss. I won't necessarily belabor the point because we have a lot of other stuff to get to.
Yeah,
but
I do want to say one thing, and then Chance can go. I think he has something to say as well. I do agree that with Connor that there was a lot of questionable refereeing in that game. Ultimately, still an ASU loss, coach's loss, Sam Levitt loss. Bad look all.
It didn't come down to the officiating, but it was
that shot
majorly affected.
Was terrible. I don't know how that doesn't get called. That pulls 7 points right off the board because that was on like 4 down. And then not only that, there was a play where Sam, like Chance said, Sam went and laid out for a first down, and he was well past it. And the guy spots him like a yard back, and you can see the replay. You're like, he's not even. That's you
can see it side by side. Like he was clearly ahead.
It was bad. But then, like Chance said, I think it was bad all around. While it was definitely leaning towards Mississippi State, especially in the first half, they tried to do these like little gimme makeup things in the second half. Not that I think they intended to do it, but that, like you said, that pass, that roughing the passer call was soft. I would have never called it, even though I want ASU to win. I'd have been like, that was.
He basically arrived there as the ball was being thrown. What is he supposed to do?
Yeah,
I mean,
he's already in the air. He's not. He didn't lead with his helmet. It was a soft call, and you get a lot of those. Obviously, we're going to talk about some more bad calls this week that happened. But that's the last thing I had to say.
And yes, obviously, I'm an ASU super fan. Chase is also a big time ASU fan, so we are going to spend some time talking about the teams that we do love. But it is also kind of a national. I mean, that was the number 12 team in the country that now is completely unranked, and Mississippi State, historically one of the worst teams in the SEC. It shows trends that like this Mississippi State team actually, it's a long season. They might have more grit to them, certainly than the 2-10 team from last year. And that could shake some things up. They showed real potential to have a handle on their offense, the explosivity. Their defense showed a lot of grit that they didn't have last year. If this program has taken a little bit of a step, the SEC is kind of wide open right now. And I'm not saying the Mississippi State is going to be anywhere near the top of the pile, but they are much more likely this year to play spoiler to some bigger teams, and they should not be overlooked. In that game is exactly why. If people in the SEC are saying, "Oh well, obviously it was just Arizona State," be careful. That they could turn into something like Vandy was last year. So it does have some national relevance.
Yeah, I could see it. I do disagree. I don't think the SEC is as wide open as you say it is, but I do agree that Mississippi State can play spoiler. I mean, even Nick Saban said when he was playing, he's like, every one of these games isn't a guaranteed win. Like our fans, when he was talking about Alabama, he said our fans are very spoiled in thinking that we should be winning all these games by 40. He's like, all of these games are a challenge. And then he said, except Vandy, because they never sell a crowd and you basically take over the crowd. So. But then the second he leaves, they lost to Vandy. So
yeah,
but only once he left. So he was correct until he left. So
why don't we move on? Chance, man of the hour, where is your crystal ball? Tell us where you got it. What is it, or what are you on? What kind of magical sci-fi substance have you been eating, smoking, injecting? Who have you been conjuring in the spirit realm to be able to be the only one on earth who's calling this outside of the University of South Florida locker room?
And why did you doubt them right when you made the pick?
Chase, we're supposed to leave that part out. Hey, I had it as a close game last week. Look,
it shouldn't have been a close game. I don't care that it was a close game. Not only was it a close game, but they won. They had no business being a close game.
Well, Chase was calling me out for not picking them, and I said it was gonna be a close game. I should have just picked them.
You would have had us in a double or nothing because we would have taken that bet. So
I know.
We all picked Florida. That was a big flub, mostly because we didn't expect the kid to see a ref go, it worked in the NFL 2 days ago, and spit in a guy's face right on a 2-minute drill with 1 point of a 1 point game. Genius. It's the shoe game all over again, but classic Florida. But go on.
I'll tell you this. I absolutely saw USF's offense blowing it out. Byron Brown, people forgot about him because he was injured, but the guy's electric. He's done things in his career that very few people do. I mean, he almost had a 4,000 passing season and 1,000 rushing yards. Nobody does that. He almost had that one year. So I knew they were going to be electric on offense. And if we don't forget, they almost beat Alabama last year. The end score ended up being like 40-9 somehow, but it was all like in the last 5 minutes somehow.
Yeah, in the fourth quarter.
They almost, yeah. What I don't think I even saw coming, that defense is pretty nice. I mean, they've bottled up Florida and Boise State. I don't think anybody saw that coming. I certainly didn't. I thought that they had enough offense to play spoiler, and that's why I kind of pointed them out that, hey, they could beat some of these teams, but they've kind of figured both sides out of the ball, and I think they're legit. I mean, whether or not they beat Miami, and maybe we'll get into that later on in the episode, I think they're set up really nice. I mean, even if you lose to Miami and you win out, I think you're the group of 5 and you're in the playoffs. And they can absolutely beat somebody in the playoffs. They're a good team. Byron Brown, he just looks different. He looks bigger and better than anybody on the field. I mean, including DJ Lagway almost, right? I mean, he's good and he's experienced. He's been in these situations and he knows how to get it done.
Yeah, no, same thing I said last week when they beat Boise State and blew them out. It's sad because the DBs will literally be bouncing off of him. He's so big and he's so hard to tackle. It's ridiculous that anyone has to do it. And they played a great game. It was obviously a bit sluggish on both sides because they both have pretty solid defenses. But I agree. I mean, I think it's very obvious now that they're the G5 like front runner. Like it's them, or I could see maybe Tulane getting in there. There might be one or two other teams that could make a push, but USF is in the driver's seat. Like you said, even if they lose to Miami, I think that's going to be a closer game than most people would have picked before. But now I think it's going to be more exciting than Florida and Miami or Florida State and Miami at this point. It's crazy that this team has come from such like a mediocre history to this, where they could go into the swamp and dominate Florida. It's
impressive. It's fun to watch, fun to see.
Wait, guys, I'm getting breaking news. James Madison is holding tryouts for their QB position. They believe they can still be the group of 5 team. Oh.
No. If you're gonna lose 28-14 against Louisville, no.
Hey, they only need an offense.
If
their defense was legit, but
if they add a third quarterback and mix it up, then the other defense won't see it coming.
Right. Exactly. That's I think what they're going with these tryouts. They just needed one more QB.
They needed another quarterback.
I do not get what they were doing. That was a fun game to watch, mostly because it honestly looked like James Madison might take that game because their defense was playing off the rocker, dude. They were before the offense of Louisville, and this is an offense that people thought were going to be pretty good. So to see them struggle so hard against this James Madison team, the guy would look to his right, to his first read, and the DB would already be ready to crush him. He'd throw it, crushed, 1 yard gain or a loss or an incomplete. Like they were swarming on defense. What was the team we were talking about later? Where I was like, damn, if this team had James Madison's defense, they'd win this game by far. Like their offense is good, but James Madison's defense was carrying them through that game, and I felt so bad that both their quarterbacks could not throw a pass to save their life. They'd get gains on running the ball, but the second either of them wanted to throw the ball, interception or 3 and out. Like it was so bad, but it was interesting. Yeah. So I was hoping for a different outcome, but it was an interesting game.
Yeah. And unfortunately, as we discussed in the Group of 5 preview, they would have had to go undefeated conference champion in order to make it. So they needed this one. So they are out. Like there is no committee on earth that would put them in, even if they did run the table the rest of the way. But good on them for still competing with. They fought well above their weight class. It was fun to watch. who agrees that Arch Manning is back, baby? Anybody? It was all over ESPN. They wouldn't stop talking about it, about how he was lighting up San Jose State, who I just learned they are actually fielding a football team again this year. Good for them. Takes guts to do that.
Yeah, I would say if they play San Jose State every week until the playoffs, they might make the playoffs.
They might.
Might.
Yeah. They looked almost as good as Ohio State did against Grambling or whatever it was. Yeah, it was just my goodness.
I have to do it. It has to
Go
be me,
ahead.
I guess. I don't think he's back, but I think we're being a little harsh on little Archie.
Yeah. I would love to, but okay, I said this too in the SEC preview that my main issue with Arch Manning is not Arch Manning. It's the fact that people would not quit talking about him for 5 seconds. Let the man develop.
Yeah.
Let the man prove himself.
Well,
that's all I'm asking.
Now?
What's that?
Is he a junior now?
Redshirt sophomore.
Yeah, he redshirted.
But, I mean, 3 years in college. I don't know. I think it's time that we start taking him like he isn't a freshman anymore, though. You know, I think he's going to have a solid season.
You're the first time starting, being the full-time flagship leader, starter, the face of the offense at the University of Texas. Give him some time to develop and step into the shoes and learn how to fill those shoes. Don't put you can respect his lineage, but he's got to make his own legacy. And I feel bad because I feel like every day people are expecting every single pass he throws to be a touchdown. He's a human being.
Okay, I agree that the expectation of he is the next it person, that he's the Heisman or whatever, that's overblown, and his lineage and everything. I agree with that, but I mean, I think we can be critics of he has 3 years in the offense. He was a highly recruited player.
Yeah,
he should show flashes. I don't think he's Heisman. We're gonna do Heisman picks later on. Spoiler alert, he's not in mine. I don't think he's in any of our lists. But I think he's gonna have a solid season. I'm not giving up on him. I think he's gonna do well. And maybe we'll see if he goes on to his junior, senior year, what he does. I think he should. The expectation is he should be solid, and I think he will be solid. Is it going to be enough for Texas? I don't know, but he's a decent player. He's good. He's not a Heisman, but he's really good.
Yeah. So I mean, I think he's getting kind of the same stigma that Shedeur got last season. Like Shedeur was getting all this hype about how great. I mean, to be fair, it got overshadowed by Travis Hunter, but Shedeur got all this he's gonna be drafted in the first round. He's so good, and to be honest, he didn't earn it. I mean, he's a talented guy. He's there's been plays where I'm like, nice play, but dude's not a Heisman. And the same thing's happening with Arch. I mean, the dude, he started a couple games last season. He looked pretty good against some bad teams where Texas is supposed to absolutely dog walk them, but he has never shown anything that's like, oh, he's spectacular. He just showed that he had better legs than Quinn Ewers, and Quinn Ewers isn't exactly the best comp because he was struggling too. So I do think the media overhyping him is why he's getting obviously so much hate. And, some of it is deserved. He played terrible against Ohio State. And I get it's a completely hostile environment to go into Ohio State and try to win that game, but he played terrible in that game. So I do believe in him more than it seems you guys do, but not right this moment. I think he has a very reasonable schedule ahead of him, and I think that if he builds confidence, like apparently the media talked about how poised and confident he was, if he actually builds that confidence that he clearly didn't have in game one, I think he could be in contention for Heisman. Maybe not win it, but I think he could be in contention. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think he has the talent. I think he could go on and be a really, really, really good player. I don't think he's there yet. He can be, but I just don't think he's there.
I also think it's ridiculous that we're like, oh, give him more time. He's had 3 years in the system. Like,
Exactly.
I know he had a red shirt, and I know he didn't start last season. Like all games, he started a couple when Ewers was injured. But that's more than some freshmen get right before they start, and they play better.
He started the Red River rivalry.
Yeah, like honestly, like
threw 4 touchdowns in that game.
Not that he had a good game this week, and we'll get to that in a second. But Bryce Underwood's looked more talented in some games, and he's a true freshman. You can't expect a true freshman to be good right off the bat because not a lot do that. But he's a redshirt sophomore. He should be showing a lot more sparks than he has shown. So
yeah. I'm ready to talk about that game. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say. Hopefully he ends up stepping up. He's gonna have plenty of opportunities to. I would love to see it happen. I think he seems like a good guy to be around. Let's speed run a couple of these others. Penn State guys, are we ready to stop hyping up Penn State? I mean, we haven't on this show been hyping them up at all, but like, really at the half, 10-0 against Florida International? Like, come on. Give me a break with this being the second best team in the country. And I don't care that they finished out with, 24 points in the second half. Like, it should never have gotten to that point. That should have been 34 points in a week where you had 5 shutouts in the top 25. I mean, that's ridiculous. This team doesn't. The number 2 in the country. Just come on, please bring on the Ohio State and Michigan losses, and maybe the Oregon loss, and let's just get them out of the top 10. I'm so tired of it.
Hey Chase,
top 10
later on this season when if Penn State wins and they prove us wrong, can we repost this clip for everybody to see on TikTok? They would go absolutely nuts on you, Connor, after you just said that.
Sure. Okay. If they prove me wrong, fine, I'll eat it. But
for reference, I will not be doing that hot take, just so you know. But yeah, I mean, we were definitely talking about Penn State in the group chat at the beginning of that before you went 0-30, Mr. I'm behind on every game. But so many teams started out this week super sluggish. I mean, obviously, we have Clemson with Troy, who struggled for 3 quarters and then came back and won it. Like I said they would, by the way, Connor, that you were like, whoa. I was like, they're going to come back and win this game. They're just struggling. I don't know why they're so sluggish. But a lot of teams obviously started out super sluggish in their week 2 matchups, even against way lesser opponents. Obviously, them with Florida International, Florida with USF losing to them, and Clemson with Troy. So, and there's more than that. But
I think these teams are preparing for following weeks and just kind of skipping past these teams.
Yeah, I do think teams look ahead. I mean, so I'm an LSU fan, and they had a pretty slow start to their game against Louisiana Tech as well. I think it was 10-0 at half. They dominated on the defensive side, which I love to see. But I see these videos where LSU has in their locker room or whatever, and they have all the games like marked off for the year, like the schedule, and they only look like they have all of them blocked out except that week's game.
That's kind of cool.
That is cool. It's a great look. However, if that's the case and you really were only looking at Louisiana Tech, what was with that sluggish start? At least like offensively, the defense did their job. Like they gave up
just a show.
They gave up some garbage. They gave up some garbage points at the end. And obviously, like Brian Kelly talked about how Death Valley needs to be louder and they need to show up more for these smaller games because they didn't shell out like they do for other games. And I agree, they should. But I mean, if I can only afford 1 game a year, right? Am I going to go to Louisiana Tech or am I going to go to Florida, Alabama, like something interesting? So
plus we're so poor, that's the only game we could go to.
That is also fair. Maybe it's the most affordable one, and that's what I'm going to. But it's not the one where the people are going to really try to go to. So I get that in that regard. But yes, they needed to perform better. They still won handsomely, not as much as anyone would want. Like I just said with Nick Saban, you wanted them to blow out every team by 70, right? And that's what Alabama did to their terrible opponent, Louisiana Monroe. And I know that he just decided he needed to do that because he looked so bad that he needed to blow out that team. So he could have definitely taken out his starters at any point. Nope, let's keep running up that thing so I look good. But
Well, I will say,
move.
let Ty Simpson get some street cred. Let him build so much confidence, because that was kind of one of the main things that FSU just like took his soul, because he put everything out on the line and it wasn't anything. So I think that letting him rebuild some trust in both himself and letting the offense and the nation see, like, no, this guy's the guy for us. I'm not saying he's going to take him to I am not saying that they proved by beating ULM that they're going to go to the conference championship or anything like that. Like, maybe, but I think that was an important game to let Ty Simpson know, like, I can last as the starter. He's been waiting in line since Bryce Young. Like, he's taken his time. And so to give him a full game, to give his footing on, and just be like, you know what? Yeah, I own this team. I'm gonna just truck everybody for 4 straight quarters, even if it is playing on easy mode. I'm gonna remember who I am. I'm gonna show the world who I am, and then have that confidence versus like, no, we're gonna save you. Like, no, let the man show off. He got embarrassed. Let him get some swagger back. I liked it.
See, I disagree. I think he was the best part of that game against FSU. He was the
Absolutely.
only.
Yeah, but it wasn't enough. He was the best.
Yeah,
He was
but don't blame him. He was
but it
the
wasn't
only
enough.
team that did anything.
Yeah, but now let him show that like he can do that and it can work. That's all I'm saying. I said that myself. I was the first person to bring that up in the last week's episode, was that Ty Simpson was the best thing about Alabama's offense, about Alabama's entire team against Florida State. But it wasn't enough, and so to let him.
So why does he have to
much,
prove it? The other people have to prove it.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I liked giving him the chance to really command and connect and show that they can fire on all cylinders. That's all I'm saying. I'm trying to compliment them, which is very rare. I don't like saying anything good.
Weird thing about leadership. Was it Ty? Was it his leadership that didn't get FSU the win, or that lost in the game?
Yeah, centuries of study on leadership and team building. That all the great philosophers of the age, they don't know nothing.
Well, I'm just saying,
that Sun Tzu guy,
it wasn't his fault that Florida lost. So why is it like his response? Like, was it his leadership skills that needed to improve, and that's what made him lose or win this week? I don't think any of that. I think just his teammates couldn't do anything except for him.
The team wasn't gelled, and
it's not on him.
Yes, the entire team got to show off. Ty Simpson, being the face of the program as the starting quarterback, had the most opportunity to show off. So he was the most obviously highlighted, and they needed a full game. I maybe they didn't need, but I liked that they got a full game to show off. I think that's helpful for building confidence.
Okay, you guys are not that far from each other. Just arm wrestle and get this over with, because I don't think we need to spend this much time on games that we knew were going to be wins.
I want to talk about a certain game still.
Do you want to? Is it Illinois versus Duke?
I don't think he wants.
Well, I do want to talk about that one.
Let's talk about that one real quick, and then we'll end our recap with the game that you really want to talk about. Illinois Duke. I did say, and I'm not even like trying to like rub your face in anything right now, mostly because no, I didn't think Duke was going to be that good, but I also will own I didn't think Illinois was going to be that good. I thought they were going to win that game, but yeah, it took them a while. I mean, it was 14-10 at the half, but like Illinois looks good, man.
Did you watch the full game?
Really good. Did I? Yeah.
Yeah. You did?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Duke looked as bad as that scoreboard showed.
They made big mistakes in critical moments, is what.
Yes. If they didn't make those big mistakes, it's a close game, I think. I
mean,
how many times?
Had a ridiculous amount of passing yards.
Yeah. How many times did they turn it over when they were about to score a touchdown?
Literally,
how many dropped touchdowns, like in the hands of the receivers?
Yeah.
Like if they just had a lot of those, or wasn't it? Didn't they have like a muff punt too? That gave Illinois 7 points right away.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, so to your point though, Connor, I'm really high on Illinois. So
Yeah, and
for me,
yeah,
I was like, either of these teams win, I'm high on both of them. So I don't come away with Duke being like a terrible team after that. They've got a lot to clean up. They can't have that against Clemson. Although I think they have a higher chance of beating Clemson now than at the beginning of the season. But they have to absolutely clean those up. If they could clean those up, I still think they're a good team because I think they can have a really good defense with a quarterback that I think can be lights out if he doesn't again turn it over. But Illinois, man, they look good. That's what happens when you get
they were fun to
19 out of 22 starters back, right, Connor?
I mean, it was I was not thinking that program was going to be ready to actually catapult itself, and I am so glad because the Big Ten has been so top heavy for so long. Man, if you're telling me, and now Indiana has looked okay through 2 games. I'm not believing any of the hype on Indiana yet until they face a real competition. But I was putting Illinois and Indiana roughly the same category, and right now Illinois looks like they can play. Like they can really play some football. So
I think they play in like
I'm
2 weeks
hoping that
too.
they continue this trend. What was that, Chase?
I think they play in like 2 weeks too. So we'll see how that
Indiana
goes.
versus Illinois.
Yeah, I think
The
it's like
battle for the eyes.
2 or 3 weeks, something like that. But yeah, no, Illinois looked good. I did not watch the end of the game because obviously once it blew open, I was cycling between like 5 different games trying to absorb all of them. So I was like, okay, this one's over. Let's go back to the game that I really wanted to see. But Illinois looked really good. Duke looked good in the first half. Absolutely fell apart with all those turnovers. To your point, Chance, I don't think they're a bad team. I don't think they're as good as you think, though, because I
They
can't
don't
see
have
any
to be
team.
when they play nobody, baby.
I don't think they still got to play some people that I think they can lose to if they're going to get basically butthurt every time they turn the ball over because they fell apart.
The take was to make it
They fell
to the
apart.
conference championship game. They got to squeak in mathematically under the radar after Clemson, Miami, Georgia Tech all eat each other alive.
They
And
have
then
to
guess
beat
who's going to
they
be
have
there
to beat
showing
one
up.
of 2 teams. That's it. That's all they need to do.
Clemson
They need to
and,
beat
Clemson and Miami.
Clemson?
Don't play each other either. So
Yeah, but Miami plays a bunch of people. They got to beat Clemson or they got to beat Georgia Tech in my mind. One of those and they're in.
Those are tall orders.
Just
I mean,
one of 2.
we could see this week with how Clemson does against Georgia Tech. So when we'll get to that.
I am so pumped for
And
that.
Duke at Tulane.
Another game that might not go your way there.
Yeah.
But we don't know. Maybe we're
We'll
putting a little
see.
too much faith in G5
There's-
because of USF. I don't know. Who knows?
lot of foundational games going on that could really lay the scene for the rest of the year.
But yeah,
I'm pumped for this weekend, even though there's not like a lot of huge, gigantic matchups, but lots of very interesting ones. We will be in 4 more weeks. We'll be looking back to this week as like the difference makers, right? So, any chance, go ahead and end the recap with the game that you really wanted to talk.
I think we have a couple games to talk about, quite honestly. But go for it. Go and do.
Okay, yeah, feel free.
Well, we can't miss Oklahoma, Michigan, right?
Yeah, that's a weird one that I would think to miss.
Yes, yeah. And I was saying it all along. I don't trust that Michigan team. Why is that Michigan team ranked so high? And yes, they got a QB. He's a freshman. He's a true freshman. He's going to be out there and he might have sparks, but he doesn't have it yet. He doesn't have enough experience. You know who does, though? The number 1 transfer QB.
John Mateer.
Mateer. He was good. And
was good,
Oklahoma's good. I'm all in on Oklahoma. Maybe I shouldn't be.
I'm telling you,
I'm
the
all in on
SEC
them.
right now looks wide open in that there's a lot of teams that look legitimately good more than usual. The SEC does not look top heavy. Last year, the SEC looked sloppy in a lot of ways. I called it from like week 4 last year that the SEC was not going to win a championship that year, and the SEC was going to probably get a lot of playoff slots, but they were going to not do well in the playoff. And this year it looks different. The SEC as a conference really does look kind of back to their old ways. But in a fun way to watch now. If Oklahoma is going to be competitive in the SEC, whoo, that's an SEC that I'll get behind.
Chase, you look like you're itching at the bit to talk to the number one SEC hater.
Yeah, Connor is so quick. First of all, he has that opinion basically every season. The only reason he jumped to that opinion last season and was correct was because Alabama lost to Vanderbilt. It was literally that game. He goes, "The SEC looks bad this year, guys," and then it just happened.
Wasn't just that, man.
So,
They did
yeah,
not
okay.
pass the eye test on anything. You would not believe their leadership
The eye
was
test.
so bad.
The eye test. Here we go again with his pseudoscience here, Connor. Leadership and
None
eye
of them
test now.
read Sophocles. None, not a one.
Oh my god.
As a conference, the SEC looks so good right now. Just dominant.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
on the vice versa, Big 12, man.
Big 12 is not looking good.
No. But the SEC looks really, really good. And again, I'm high on this Oklahoma team. I mean, I was dogging them a little bit for being ranked so high, and I think deservedly so. But again, the difference between them, in my mind, and Michigan, very similar teams, admittedly, because great defenses with no offensive last year, is I thought that Oklahoma was getting a high caliber offensive coordinator and QB and was going to change it around, and I think I'm right. I like these guys.
How high are you on them? Do you think they're making the SEC championship?
No.
Okay.
I think that they are a playoff team.
So missing the SEC championship, but making the playoffs. Okay.
Well, if the SEC gets 4 or 5 teams in there,
if they do that, they probably got to win in a couple weeks against Texas. That'd be interesting.
I think they can.
I don't think it's out of their realm of possibilities. I think this OU team looks a lot better than last year, obviously, and even last year they had some marquee
Texas
wins.
manages to lose to both Ohio State and Oklahoma, obviously that's not a conference game, but that would be rough for Texas.
But they'd still have a chance at the playoffs because they're Texas. But
they would, but if they would have no margin for error because if they lose that early conference game, they really probably, especially with as good as the SEC looks, they cannot lose one more game because then they would be out of the probably mathematically out of the championship. And then also having that week 1 loss, that's 3 losses. Like, there's a legit chance that they'd be one of the first teams out.
No, I think a 3-loss Texas team can make it.
I think they can. I don't think they will.
Not if the SEC is stacked.
No, listen, Alabama almost made it with hideous losses, right?
Yeah.
But if Texas has an Ohio State loss, an Oklahoma loss, and let's say, I don't know if they played Georgia, probably not, but if they had a Georgia loss and that was their 3 losses, committee's letting them in. I
don't know about that. That was
Alabama had terrible losses
similar to Alabama's story last year. Yeah, but they didn't. They made the right choice. Whether or not people agree in hindsight that it was the right choice, well, we all know that Alabama was the right choice after.
They also didn't have Archie Manning.
Greatest to ever do it, Texas, hook 'em. But back to the game we were talking about. Chance, I agree. John Mateer looked good. He didn't look amazing, but he looked good and much better than the last few years with Oklahoma. I do think he's going to have a pretty good season, but I'm not sure if they're making it as far as you're saying. But this is a good Oklahoma team.
Did you see the play where there's a blitz coming and nobody's picking up that guy, and at the last second, John sees him. He throws him off, and then he scrambles to the right. On the run, throws it in this tight window and hits a moving receiver for the first down.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy stuff.
That was a great play. That was a veteran play right there. You were not seeing Bryce Underwood do that on the other side of the ball, and you weren't seeing Arch Manning do that the week prior. So that was a great play.
I don't know. I like him. I do.
Yeah.
I'm sold. Some teams turned me off this week, and I'm sold on them.
Nobody would be more excited than me to see the top of the SEC be littered with Vandy, Oklahoma,
Mississippi
South
State.
Carolina.
Well, there's another SEC team you seem to be forgetting about, Connor, and this was a game that you were looking so forward to. What about Kansas and Mizzou? How did that go for you, Connor? How did that go for both of you?
Oh my gosh. That started off, I felt like Chance at the beginning of that one. I was like, God, I am just so smart. How do I do it? I was about to start tweeting out like, don't worry guys, I put my pants on one leg at a time just like everybody else.
21-6 in the first quarter.
Yeah. And then wow, that was a spectacular blow of a game. Just come on. Like, and you can't blame anything but yourselves, Kansas. Like, you guys had it. You guys had the talent, you had the speed, you got the quarterback. You were matching up and exceeding them on the field and on paper every step of the way. But you let that rivalry get to you. You let them come back. You let them get a little bit of confidence, and Kansas just fell apart. That's all there is to it. And I hope that they recover. It was a rivalry game. It's a bitter rivalry game. Apparently, honestly, like, full disclosure, I didn't realize that was as heated of a rivalry as it was. Yeah. I guess they haven't played in a long time, and
it had been 14 years.
It showed up. Obviously it doesn't affect Kansas conference chance, but like, wow, that was crazy. I was not expecting Missouri to have that much just fire in their veins. So
yeah, no,
good on the Tiger. Go Tigers.
In that first quarter, I was like, oh no. I was like, Connor might be onto something here. I was like, as he said, Jalen Daniels all the way to the moon, right, Connor? And very shortly after that, the game turned around so fast, and it was tied at half.
He came back down to earth real fast.
I was like, oh, I should have trusted myself and not doubted myself, because I know that Mizzou is a weird, scrappy team that somehow manages to fight in every single game they're in. So, and they did. They absolutely scraped all the way back into that game and then took control of it towards the end. And it was a really fun game to watch. There was only probably one other game that was more entertaining than that one to me.
Connor, I got bad news for you.
What's up?
Did you see? I don't know much about this. Admittedly, maybe I shouldn't even bring it up. That there were some violations by the officiating in that game, and that they're suspending some of the refs, and they were Big 12 refs.
Oh, not a good look. It was Big 12 refs in the Arizona State Mississippi State game too. Yeah. It's not a good look for the conference as a whole.
Not doing great. There's the only Big 12 team that gave me a little bit of confidence this week in a game that they were supposed to lose was Baylor. What happened with that pick, guys? Baylor versus SMU. Who picked Baylor last week?
I gave up on them. I gave up on them after one go.
Wait, Connor, hold on. Look at Chase, all on his high horses. Look at my picks. Look at me. Didn't you go like 1-4 last week?
No, I went 2-4. And now I went 5-2, baby. Back on top.
Oh yeah, look at him.
Who's in last place right now, Chance? Who do you think's in last place?
Probably me.
Yeah, but it is a one. It is a one.
It's very close. Nobody
is
should
it
be
because I picked
heads.
UNLV? Is that the only difference maker between he and I?
Yeah, technically, yeah. That was the last game. You guys held hands the entire time until that game in the which one else?
Go Rebels! I never doubted.
We got a whole season, and I don't have a hot take. How's that coming by the way? How's that going, guys? We got our.
I'm working on it. I got some things going on. I'm working on it.
Oh, okay.
It will happen. I have a venue. I just need to pick a date.
All right, we should probably talk about Baylor because they deserve it.
Yeah, and SMU. Baylor looked really great on offense. On offense, they looked amazing. Sawyer Robinson was playing out his ass that game. He looked so good.
Well.
SMU's defense really wasn't stopping them very good. But on the other side of the ball, SMU's offense was destroying Baylor's defense. And that is the big concern with Baylor is they don't play defense. It's like they're just getting walked through. The entire game was in control by SMU, basically that entire game until the very end of it. Because of Kevin Jennings was just absolutely just walking right through their defense. I think at one point he was like 17 of 17. He was just walking through them. He had way less pass attempts than Sawyer Robinson, and he was just walking right through Baylor's defense. It was like they weren't even there. They were just absolutely pointless to be there.
It's normally not a good sign if you are not an air raid offense that your quarterback had to throw it 40 or 50 times. Like that. I mean, good on Sawyer. Like, dude's got it. But is he the only thing on this team? He'll win some games, but he ain't making it to the playoff. Like that luck's gonna run out.
Besides him.
Yeah.
No, they got some weapons, especially on offense. It's truly their defense is an absolute liability right now. Yeah. They need to figure that out.
And as glad as I am that the Big 12 won a game and that Baylor got in the win column, like, man, I think SMU had a better shot at being good in the long run. And I like Kevin Jennings. I think he's a solid player. And
Kevin Jennings played amazing, but he tweaked his ankle in that literal last overtime, and then that was because that's why they didn't score, because they couldn't get the first down. They went to kick it and they missed. And the second that happened, I was like, Baylor's gonna win this game. They just have to kick a field goal. So,
Connor, might I remind you that this is not the first time a Big 12 team beat them on the road. And it didn't matter that the ACC was still fine.
A Big 12
and the
team.
Big 12 was not.
A Big 12 team that has both a B and a U in their name, right? And a Y.
That's crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
I can't picture what that school would be, but you seem to have some ties to them. For especially being such a big USF fan, I'm surprised that you speak so fondly of that other school.
What can I say? I just know ball.
Yeah, right.
It could be meaningless like last year, although that's not the reason that BYU kind of got screwed out of their playoff spot. But if Baylor can fix some stuff,
you're right. It's tiebreakers.
If Baylor can,
Kansas was much more the reason. Yeah. But so any parting shots on a unexpectedly wild and fun, and we didn't even talk about one of the most exciting just overall games, zero national or very little national relevance, but one of the most exciting games of the weekend was UConn versus Syracuse. That was a fun game, and it was just a fun game to watch. Those were just two teams playing because they love to play. I mean, neither of them are going anywhere this year, but UConn is finally a respectable program now, so I enjoyed that game. I had that one on in the background while I was watching the main events. But
now you are patting yourself on the back for your money line.
Exactly. That was my eye roll.
That's one of the most exciting games to talk about this week. No, not Iowa.
They're
Iowa
both
State,
going to lose
Virginia,
lots of games.
North Carolina State that went.
I put a late night pick out there of Hawaii and Arizona both beating the spread, and then I went to bed, and those both hit too. So
okay,
he's good at money line.
My Vegas picks are doing a lot better than my pick'ems right now.
Yeah, his when he's betting on other people's wallets, solid. When he's betting on himself,
I made several people hundreds of dollars this weekend with my picks.
That's good. More people need to listen to you when it is money line and it is not your pick'ems.
Yeah.
And guess what?
Speaking of pick'ems,
with our sponsor today. Thank you for sponsoring us. Nobody.
Yeah.
But if you do want to sponsor us, I'm looking at you. I mean, there might be some under.
Saying.
I won't say it. Won't bring them up.
But last point I want to make about a couple of these games is for Iowa State. It was a very gritty game. Some questionable refereeing in that game. There was 2 games this week where there was a muffed punt where a player got basically thrown into the guy doing a fair catch signal. And in both of those games, they said, doesn't matter that he crushed him. It's a muffed punt. And they gave it to the other team. And that was Iowa and Iowa State. They gave it to Iowa. It's the reason they scored a field goal that drive and then 7 on the next drive. And then in that Baylor SMU game, same thing happened. Baylor goes to catch it. Guy gets. They said he got pushed by his own teammate, but the replay did not show that, and he just crushes him, and obviously drops the ball because he's getting hit as the ball is touching him and bounces off of him. And I don't know what the referees were doing in these games. They were very, even when they showed in some of these games, they showed the like explanation in the background. You're like, what are you guys doing? And they just said, oh, they don't say call stands anymore. They say the call is upheld. It's like, what are we doing? We're just giving points to the other team now. Like, how are they going to stop a muff punt from scoring? They're already at the 10. Like, ridiculous. But it was definitely exciting to watch. And that Virginia North Carolina State game was punch for punch until the very end when Virginia quarterback threw a pick in the end zone. That was a super fun game. So.
Yeah. Two teams that were very evenly matched in that one.
Yeah, that was a good one. Lots
of competitive games. Anything else on that before we get into the next segment?
Can I go AWOL for about 5 minutes?
Sure.
Do we take a break while you do this, or
taking a break?
No. I need you guys to call me crazy. There's a couple things that are really bothering me. Some of these broadcasts are really bothering me. It feels like the quality is going down a little bit. Do you remember, Chase, when we were what game was it we were watching where they had an interviewer interview the guy, and he's like, "So, coach, what are you going to do on this 4th down? Are you going for it?" He's like, "Yeah, we're going to punt." It was like the most obvious punting situation. And then the commentators come on and they're like talking like as if watch out, they're going to go for it. What? And it's like while he's punting the ball, he's like, "Wait, your coach just told us they're going to punt the ball." What game was that?
They literally said, "Watch out, it's going to be a fake." And then the ball was already in the air when he was saying the sentence. I was like, okay.
And it was after the head coach said, "Yeah, we're just going to punt the ball."
I think it was Illinois Duke. I think it was Brett Bulimia. I think they were talking to him.
That sounds like something he would say.
He might have been, but it was just
he's got Mike Leach vibes when talking to reporters.
That or it was Kansas and Mizzou. It was one of those two for sure. But yeah, I don't know what they were.
One of those. It was just like what is going on here? And then I actually like listening to the show, and this isn't college football, but it's along the same line. The Rich Eisen broadcast. Did either of you watch that? No. Okay. It was there was just some weird stuff. Like he was just like there was a field goal I think that was missed, and he was like, "Oh, good," like just the opposite of what was going on. It was just like, what's going on? Like why are we so off? Or like the Arizona State game last week. Like what's happening with sports broadcasting? Why is it?
I don't know about the broadcaster in that game, but all that cowbell was literally making the audio sound like your TV in the 90s when it wasn't connected.
Oh, I would have been losing my mind.
Was like, dude, what the
I don't understand. I don't understand, honestly, like how they allow it. As a fan, I would, like, I don't care that it's the home team. I'd be like, I am not going into that environment. Like, I like it loud. I like it. But they were slinging their cowbells on offense. Like, normally you want to, like, chill out and give the offense like some room to work, but not in Starkville. I guess they're just like a 4-year-old with a toy with a battery.
They're just there for the vibes.
Yeah. All right, second gripe, guys, and I've already been hitting this one hard with you. You're gonna just get sick of me. This AP poll is bull crap.
Yeah,
these voters are bull crap, man. I can't take it. There is an AP voter for everybody out there. I won't call them out by name, but there is an AP voter. I will read you how they voted, if I can find it. Did they change this up on me?
For reference, Connor doesn't like the AP poll because ASU is no longer ranked. That is the reason he is agreeing.
No, I can absolutely.
That's the only thing you complained about the entire week after that. It's like,
no, I wasn't even complaining about that. That probably sounded like a complaint in the text. That was not a complaint. That was an acknowledgement. Like, man, like it sucked. It was hard to see, but I get it. They had a shaky performance. They had a flawed but solid performance against an FCS team, and then they fell apart at the last second against an SEC opponent. Like, it's a loss. There's a lot of 2-0 teams right now. USF absolutely deserves the spot more, for example.
You find a chance?
Okay, I found it. You guys ready? And this is just one example. I mean, there's one that's going viral, and rightfully so. She said something very stupid, in my opinion. But, I mean, at least she kind of did it gracefully. Okay, here we go. Ready? And some of these aren't as crazy. They're a little crazy, but they're not that crazy. So we've got 11 Clemson, 12 Texas A&M, 13 Michigan. Then we get crazy. We got 14 Alabama, 15 Florida. That's crazy because we have 16 Florida State. Wait, who did Florida State beat last week? Oh, wait, Alabama. That's ahead of them, apparently. And then they have number 20, South Florida. And yet Florida's 15. Did we not... What happened? Last week, Florida got beat by South Florida. Why are they 5 spots below them? How is that even possible? And that's just one. I mean, we had the lady that went viral. She had Florida 16th last week, and she has Florida 14th this week. We got to kick some of these people off. I mean, it's a joke. And her response again was, well, that's the great thing about AP poll is it all evens out after we all vote. It's like that's an excuse for I don't really have to do my work because everybody will do their work and it evens it out for me. It's disgraceful. Get those people out of there. They should not have a vote. There are some actually great people. I mean, if you look at some of the comments, some people spend like 12 hours a week to be able to get the information that they feel like they need and vote. I read one person that was like, I'm not a voter anymore because I was spending 12 hours a week and I just couldn't justify that in my life anymore. Cool. Better than her who just clearly didn't spend any time at all, or I don't know what she was thinking, or takes it as a joke. But this is why I can't take rankings, especially the beginning of the season. It's such a joke. Why are we doing this? Yeah, I did hear a good suggestion though. They should do like a Survivor kind of thing and vote out somebody every week. Just like, yeah, your picks suck. You're the weakest link. We're throwing you out of the tribe.
Do they get paid for this, or is this a volunteer thing?
Well, I think they get selected.
I think they get selected. Yeah, I think you have to. Which
you probably get some sort of incentive for it. So you're saying, let's play Survivor. Do you have a job this week? Yes or no?
Yeah,
I mean,
well, like
they
already
whether you have a job anymore. I don't care that
they already work for the AP, but they
I mean, like if you're gonna vote the way that they do, it's clearly a joke to them. It's not serious. Get them out.
Yeah, no, unfortunately.
I don't know why we need to wait until week 8 or whatever it is for the CFP. Like, I get it that you need a full body of work to talk about. Like, I never, until I saw like how the AP was this year, like, I never thought I'd miss the CFP poll because there's a lot of flaws in that too, but they get a lot right. They do get more right in the CFP than they get wrong, especially more right. It's way less reactive than now. What the playoff poll often gets wrong is like the most important ones, but they're the like 10 through 25. I do tend to agree with it more than the AP, but yeah, AP is based on vibes, and it's getting a little ridiculous. And I wish we would get some professionals in there.
There are professionals in there. Yeah. Just spend them. There's just some nonsense.
You know, I see it as every organization always has some idiots or slackers involved in there, and you know, that person probably got caught sleeping on the job there. So I don't know what their mindset was with those ratings right there, and I'm sure there's plenty more that had weird ratings. But whenever there's a vote in some sort of thing, there's always someone that ruins it for everyone else. I mean, completely different sport, but if you go back to what was it, like 2012 for basketball, there was that one guy that just said, I don't think LeBron was the MVP this season. I'm going to give it to this guy, and just and just completely get who did he name? I don't even think it was like Carmelo Anthony. And he named him that, and that's the only reason that LeBron didn't get the first unanimous and MVP. It was one guy said, "No, I don't want that." Otherwise, it wouldn't have been Steph was the first unanimous MVP. It would have been LeBron. But there's always some guy or some girl apparently this week that ruins it for everyone. But I think the AP does a decent job. It's definitely better than the ESPN FPI, who has like Bam at 4.
Literally like zero logic.
Like I don't know how you do that.
I'm not very good at math, and I'm pretty sure I could make a better algorithm, and I'm not even sure how to make an algorithm.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but
so
it'll improve as the season goes on. But yeah, if you look at the ESPN FPI, it's a mess. It's terrible. I think Texas lost and retained the number 1 spot. I'm pretty sure.
Number 2 spot. Number 1 spot was Oregon.
Okay, yeah. So the team that they lost to was lower than them.
Yeah,
still
Ohio State was lower than them somehow. It's like, and Bama was 4. Like it was ridiculous. There was a ton of terrible ones in there. Like,
shall we?
But go on.
Shall we call it on last week?
Yep.
And switch to looking ahead to the future.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, week 2 is done in the books. Week 3 is coming up. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite parts of the podcast. Chase, why don't you introduce this week's pick'ems? Take it away.
All right. The week 3 highlighted games of the week. First game up. Actually, let's go in order here. First game up is on Friday. It is Kansas State, a team that's been struggling, against Arizona. Your favorite team. Let's let Connor pick first because he loves U of A so much.
Oh, as much as I love to hate them, I think this is a close matchup. I believe the spread on this one is really close. Arizona has had success so far this season, but not against much. I mean, they did really well against Hawaii, but like it's Hawaii. What are you going to really make of it? But Kansas State, like, oh my gosh, that program appears to be in an absolute tailspin. They're on the road now. The Zona Zoo, as they call themselves, it's really not that intimidating of a place to play outside of rivalry week. It's just not. I'm just telling you, like it's not like it's compared to other environments that you could play in. It's not a particularly like they get pretty wild there. There's a reason they call it the Zona Zoo, but you're not going to the horseshoe, so like I would be more fearful. Like K-State is a more impressive place to play in. Yes, it's the rival, so I'm not going to speak that high, but like it's just not. It's not that amazing of a place. It's not imposing. So it's not a huge road threat as far as that, but I'm giving it to K-State. I think it'll be very narrow, but I am giving it to them. I think that they gotta pull out something. Maybe Arizona is actually going to be a dark horse this year. Who knows? But I think K-State's got the talent, and if they can pull it off and finally fix some of the things that they were showing in the first couple weeks, yeah, I think they can take that one.
Interesting.
But close.
Chase, I can't follow Connor.
Yeah.
Not after last episode.
You guys held hands that whole episode, and then it really came to bite you because the one game you deviated from Connor took with UNLV barely over UCLA, because UCLA is a disappointment. Don't expect me to support you again. Anyways, go on, Jets.
You're dead to me.
You're dead to me. I advocated for you twice, and it bit me twice. Who you thinking, Chance?
Oh, you gotta go. I can't go after Connor.
Oh, you can't go after. Okay, I understand.
Oh, I thought you meant you couldn't follow like with my pick.
Gotcha.
Fair enough. I can't go after you because my pick is Kansas State.
Oh my god, these guys here.
Crazy. I just can't see Kansas State losing another game. They're way too talented for that.
They lost to Army.
I can't trust them. But they can't lose 3 in a row, right? Not with by the way, Avery, he's like top 5 in passing, or is it top 6?
I think he's number 3. He's either second or third in the country in passing yards right now.
You can't lose another game with that, right?
You're doing a dangerous gambler's mindset right there. It's got to break right here.
I know. They're just too talented to lose again. But they're still. Is it Dylan Edwards? They're still missing. So
I'm not sure.
It's their running back. Yeah, they're still missing him from week 1, or week 0, whatever. Kansas State though.
Yeah, I wish I could hold hands with you guys, but I disagree. I'm not a U of A fan, and they haven't proven themselves to an actual team yet. But they blew out those 2 teams. Kansas State just lost to Army. Army have been struggling, and I think they're going to continue struggling. Maybe they shake it off. Maybe they do. But I think U of A deserves a little bit more respect than that. So I'm going to take U of A in this game. And that's weird coming from someone who went to ASU.
Yeah.
Yeah, they struggled. They won by 3 against North Dakota.
I know.
And then they lost by 3 to Army. So there's no way I can ride on this team and expect they're just going to magically pull their head out of their ass. There's just no way. So,
yeah.
U of A all the way, unfortunately. So
logical pick.
Yeah. All right. Matchup 2, a team that's been struggling. And I think I already know where Chance is going with this, but Clemson at Georgia Tech. Chance, you get to lead off this time.
I don't like this game.
I don't like this game. Timeout.
There's a lot of games I'm really struggling to pick this week, guys, and this is one of them.
That's fair.
I don't know if I like Clemson anymore. I mean, they haven't looked good.
Clemson is the team that you had in your way too early prediction to win the national championship in a rematch against Ohio State.
You're right, Clemson.
just wanted to see. Okay, he's willing to without that, he's willing to die on that hill.
By the way, Cade Klubnik, 104th in QBR right now.
He's not having some good games right now. He did that second half against Troy, and once again, it's against Troy. It's not that great, but they put it together. They have 17 unanswered points right away, and then they won that game, and they took control. So, and Connor didn't seem to believe that was going to happen, but when it was 17-0, even though I was getting a little nervous myself, I was like, no, this is how these games go. Clemson's taking it. So you have Clemson. All right. I agree. Clemson. I think Georgia Tech's a good team. I think being at home for Georgia Tech is a very good benefit for them. But I think Clemson's going to get it together. I don't think they're struggling like Kansas State is struggling, but they are struggling a bit. But I believe in Dabo enough to get this win at Georgia Tech, because if they lose, it's 2 losses, 1 and 2. He's going to be 1-2. That's not going to be. Say hi to the lights, Chance. That's not going to be a good look for Dabo. In his apparently favorited season to win the Natty. So, Clemson, Connor.
I'll be the one to break the mold.
Oh.
I am a big believer. I was hoping that Georgia Tech would be a dark horse. What I've seen from them so far, they got the makings. They're a tough, gritty team. I am a big-time Haynes King fan. Yes, I also was riding very high on the Clemson Tigers this season. I still think they're a very good team, and it really makes me sad because I think that they have elite level talent. But I did say that we were going to know a lot after that first game against LSU, and I think at home, Georgia Tech, they're putting together something that I think is going to be pretty special to watch, and I hope that it continues.
All right. This is the same Georgia Tech team that struggled to put away Colorado.
Yeah, week 1, Colorado was a tough game in the beginning.
They also lost last year to Vandy, but that was last year.
They also took Georgia to 8 overtimes.
True. But that's their inconsistency, I guess. But all right, I respect the pick.
My pick.
All right, game number 3. Same state, different game. Georgia at Tennessee. I guess I'll go first. That's fair. Georgia, Tennessee. Well, Tennessee looks good. They're definitely look a lot better than I thought they were going to look this year. I definitely put a little bit too much stock in Nico being a serviceable quarterback, as my picks for UCLA did not turn out well. You're dead to me. Anyway, the guy they have at Tennessee has been performing really well. Their defense looks really good. And, Georgia kind of struggled there against a lesser opponent early on in their game. So it's hard to say. But at the same time, good old Rocky Top has not beaten Georgia since 2016. And I think that continues this week. I think Georgia takes it.
Yeah. I don't know if I can trust Gunnar Stockton. He hasn't. Has he done anything to prove that he can be trusted? I mean, I don't know. And the inconsistency of Georgia again. The only thing that might be more inconsistent is Tennessee beating big time teams, right? They just don't do it. So give me Georgia.
Georgia came out slow, but ultimately they did win. I expect them to play at a much higher level. I also expect Tennessee to play at a much higher level. I'm not super sold on Tennessee yet. I got the Bulldogs in this one. I would much rather see Tennessee finally put it together, but I think that Georgia is more ready for the moment. They're more built for the moment right now.
It's hard to argue with a team that's been so good the last few years.
So for so long. Yeah. Again, I hope it's a really close game. Think it will be. It's got the makings of one. Like I said, Georgia, I think, is just built for the moment.
Yep, they have that history, and they have a history of winning big moments. So Tennessee really hasn't shown that, other than a couple wins against Alabama recently. So
which Alabama turned out to not be that big of a win.
Yeah, I mean, it was still a good win, but it was not.
But not what they.
It wasn't a playoff win like they had in the playoffs. So yeah. But anyway, we're unanimous on that one. I still hope for you, Rocky Top. I still hope for you. Big one. This one, we know who's leading this one off. Chance, USF at Miami. He's got the shirt. Does he bail on his magic voodoo of USF?
Does he triple down?
His original take was that he would win one. They would win one of their first 3 games against Boise State or Florida or Miami, and now they've beaten both Boise State in a blowout and Florida on the road in the swamp. Who do you have?
We laughed at you. We laughed out loud to your face last week.
If you would have doubled down, we would have ate crow 2 weeks in a row. How are you feeling this week?
Never doubted my boys. Should never doubted them. This is such a bad pick. USF.
I admire it. Chan.
I have to now.
You have to. I'm not even gonna give you a hot take, Chase. I'm just telling you, if you call that a hot take right now, I'm not going to. I'm picking Miami. I cannot fathom that Lightning would strike 3 times, but I'm not gonna be mad at you for making the pick. They have looked utterly unstoppable, and their defense is way better than anybody would have thought at this point. So maybe Florida was just a little less competent on offense than we thought. Maybe USF is just that good. But I got Miami, but man.
Would it be crazy?
It would be nuts.
That would be crazy.
Question before you answer, Chase. If they win, what are they ranked?
They easily top 10. I mean,
they have to be.
Just top 10? I think they have to be top 5.
They're not.
They have to be put ahead of Notre Dame.
Maybe if they dominated Miami, they might do that. But knowing how the rankings go, I doubt it.
But they're the only team that has beaten 2 ranked team so far.
They
If
they
they
have
take down a top 5 team on the road,
they
I
do
think you
have
have to put them
they do have
5-4.
one of the best resumes right now. Even not even just as a G5 team, they have one of the best resumes. And the only reason they are ranked lower is because they started unranked and they didn't want to dial back on their original ranking. USF had hype coming into the season. We all were wondering how crazy the hype was, and we didn't buy in, even though this man bought a shirt after their first win. Until that,
I bought in. What are you talking
you
about?
didn't buy in like that. You didn't see them winning, taking the G5 spot. You didn't say that anything like that because we could go back and look. Chance, you did buy into them after that Boise State win, even though once again you didn't double down this week and you should have. But they have shocked a lot of people, and I could see them taking this game. However,
Do you see them taking this game?
However, Florida, as much as I liked Florida this year, not for how their record was going to turn out, but just how scrappy I thought this team was going to be with their probably the toughest schedule in football. It's probably them, OU, and LSU have the toughest schedules with I think it was seven ranked opponents in the preseason polls. Right out, like crazy schedules. Most of them for Florida especially are on the road, by the way. Very disappointed how that game went for them. But Miami in that first game looked a lot more ready for what they were going to do. They played against a good Notre Dame team, and while they had a new quarterback and everything, they kept control of that game for a good portion of it. I think Miami is a more ready for the moment team than Florida was. Florida played a game against, what was it, Long Island University or whatever, and then came into this USF probably thinking, oh, this is not a good game, and they paid for it. I don't think Miami's going to make the same mistake. I think Miami's going to learn from Florida's mistake, and I think they're going to win probably pretty favorably, honestly, just because they're not walking with their heads held so high that they can't see the roof about to hit them. So
I can see that. It's not going to happen, but I can see it.
That's sound logic.
Yeah.
That Miami's not dumb enough to think that both. It was really easy to think that BSU wasn't legit after that game, but now I'd be like, oh, Florida too? Like, come on! Like, no, they're coming into this game expecting a brawl. They're not going to get caught sleeping.
Yeah, no. If USF, if that game had been at USF, I might have picked USF. I think they're a good team, but the fact that it was on the road, it still blows my mind. I mean, it's crazy that Florida player did that and played that poorly. But you know,
he was just being scrappy.
Yeah, this is not the year for Florida right now. Although I do think they could bounce back in one of these games and play spoiler here. But they have a rough schedule. Yeah. But I take Miami for this.
Florida could end up being like 2-5.
They could be. Or I had them in my way too early preseason poll like 8-4. I thought they could take a couple games, including I thought they might take a game against Texas, but now I don't know. But speak of the devil, Florida at LSU. We're talking about how confident we are on this Florida team. How do we feel against the number 3 team in the nation?
Go Tigers!
Go Tigers for Con.
I think this is unanimous. LSU.
You think I'm gonna pick LSU? Why would?
All right, let's move on.
I have an inkling.
Why would I pick LSU?
As likely as Chance is to bet on the Bulls.
Yeah. Well, he didn't last week, but
yeah. No,
but he did this week.
Florida's lost credibility, and LSU has given me no reason to doubt them so far. Have they looked perfect? No, but no team does. So, I can't find an argument against it right now. Hopefully, it's a good game. Should be a good game.
Being a longtime Tiger fan, I have seen some disappointing games from LSU. Not all of them were losses, but just I've seen disappointing games against teams that they should win against, especially when it's at home in Death Valley, where these games should be absolutely unfair for the opponent because of how loud and how many people they stuffed into that stadium is crazy. But as much as I talk about this, that is mostly my anxiety of how many times I've seen this team hurt me. I believe in this team. Obviously, I have them as the favorite to win the Natty this season. I believe they're going to win this game. Don't let me down, Tigers. Go Tigers.
By the way, Chase, I don't hate LSU at all, but you have put me in a position where I have to root against LSU.
Just because you want
You know
me
that,
to
right?
win
You
the
put Connor and I in a position that we have to root against your team now.
Why?
Because we don't want to be punished.
Okay.
Yeah, they can win this one though. All they have to do is not
They need
win
to lose
the
their SEC
championship.
games.
Real quick, Chance, do you really expect that you're going to get through this entire season without spinning that wheel?
No, I'm honestly. I'm
then
gonna
then just take the L with honor.
and I hope
the
it's
team that deserves
Alabama.
it.
It's gonna be Alabama, and I'm gonna be happy. Everybody else is gonna come through for me.
All right.
I don't know.
Next
we'll
one.
see. Go Tigers.
Hey,
Anyway.
by the way, I have only done hot takes on teams that I don't like, except for USF.
Yeah,
that's your problem.
I don't know what that is. You're like, I want to play devil's advocate real quick. Even in your picks for Utah, you're like, let me talk about Utah real quick. As a longtime BYU fan, I want to talk about how great I think Utah is. And you're right, they are playing really good. But it is crazy how much you've been playing devil's advocate for these teams.
Did you know? Fun fact: my dad graduated from the U.
Oh my god! Is this a
and
house
he's a BYU
divided?
fan.
Is this a house divided?
No, he's a BYU fan. Season ticket holder.
That is crazy. Oh my god. I mean, obviously, I'm not ASU ride or die as much as I am LSU ride or die, but they're not rivals, so that's crazy. I can't imagine that I went to ASU and then I'm sitting there going, "Go Wildcats." No.
I don't know. Weird stuff.
But
all right, Chase, what we got next?
All right, this one is arguably the game of the week. Texas A&M, a rematch of last season at Notre Dame.
Same result.
Same result. Taking the Irish, Connor.
Fighting Irish.
This is a hard pick.
This is Texas A&M and Iowa are pretty similar vibes in my mind. I do think Texas A&M is a better team than Iowa, but like in their conferences, they're kind of like the benchmark team. Like if you can beat Texas A&M in the SEC, you're a good team. If you don't, you're a bad team. Same thing with Iowa. You're worth mentioning in the Big Ten if you beat Iowa, but if not, like you're clearly the lower end. I think Notre Dame does it. I just don't trust Texas A&M to be more than a top 11 to 20 team. I don't.
So what you're saying is that Texas A&M is mid
in their when compared to nationally relevant programs and opponents. Yeah,
literally the explanation is that they are the exact like midpoint of when you become.
Yeah, they're the Colossus of the SEC, like you know, from like Deadpool or whatever. Like,
I just
if you can beat them, you're strong.
I just wanted to make sure that Aggie fans know that you said that they're mid. Anyway, go ahead, Chan.
Yeah.
Can I remind you of the last time that you doubted Texas A&M?
Are you telling me that UTSA is in the same caliber as Notre Dame?
I'm just saying, you keep doubting them, and they might keep proving you wrong.
Fine. Yeah, you know, you're right. You're right. The Roadrunners had just as good of a chance as Notre Dame.
You're laughing right now. You picked UTSA. Why are you laughing?
After having my feet held to the flames twice on 2 different episodes, having my very honor and integrity as a man.
Oh, please, you were wearing shoes.
No. Give me the Irish in this one. I hope it's a competitive game. It's in South Bend. Like, give me the Irish.
I'm having the hardest time picking this game. It's almost like the Miami game where I was like, I have no idea. I'm clueless on this one. My gut is telling me Notre Dame. But I don't feel a soft Notre Dame for me. Can you put like half a pick for me or something?
Unfortunately, that's not how this works. But
all right, fair.
It's a pick'ems, not a waffle.
Do your magic voodoo.
I got to, I guess. Yeah.
He plucked a hair off of Marcel Reed's head.
I don't know. Watching that first Miami game, I don't know if I trust either of those teams. But maybe. But I can't trust Texas A&M either. Like Connor said, Marcel Reed, he's just never shown that he can do it. So I gotta trust that, I guess.
Picking the Irish. Irish it is. Yeah, that's unanimous. I think Texas A&M is a good team. I wouldn't call them mid like Connor is implying, but when it comes to these games, Texas A&M tends to lose. Especially, it's on the road. It's at Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's taking this. Notre Dame can't lose their first 2 games. They had a bye week, so I mean, so did A&M. They both have bye weeks for this game. They both have prep time for this. But Notre Dame specifically, if they lose this game, this is a season that so many people have them going to the playoffs, including me. They can't lose this game after they lost to Miami. Even if those are good losses, that's your 2 best they're not in the conference. Those are your 2 best matchups of the season. There's a couple good ones in there that could be a little bit better. If USC pans out a little bit better, then that one might look good, but it's not enough to get you in the playoffs with no.
Well, it makes that Boise State matchup real scary because even though Boise State doesn't look nearly as threatening as they did at the beginning, like you can't slip up.
Yeah,
when the Broncos
really can't slip up after that.
No, if Notre Dame loses this one, like Boise State, you're giving Boise State reason to fight. At that point, like Boise State's going to come as embarrassed as they were by South Florida. Like I don't care if they don't have the talent. It's Boise State. Like they can upset anybody on any given day. You give them a reason. You give them a reason to smell blood in the water. Oh man, could you imagine a 9-3 finisher to Notre Dame with no notable wins?
That's what it could be if they lose this game, which is why I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to take this game. So
yeah,
it's really, can they cover a mobile quarterback? Can you cover Marcel Reed? Because Marcel Reed has not been the best when it comes to throwing, but he knows how to get behind defenses with his feet. So he's a serviceable quarterback. I think he could surprise some teams this season. I don't think Notre Dame's going to be one of them. So I'm picking Notre Dame. Our next pick, Connor is very fond of this team for some reason. Even though he's an SEC hater. Vandy at South Carolina.
It's less that I'm not high on Vandy. It's more that I actually really like South Carolina this year. Now Vanderbilt has shown. I mean, Diego Pavia is a monster, man. Like that. Every time I think that guy's like hit his ceiling, he breaks right through it, and in the strangest ways. Like he does not seem like he should be as good of a quarterback as he is. But he is. He is that good, and he's ridiculous, and he's proven everybody wrong every step of the way. I can't, in good faith, bet on Vandy though. I think South Carolina takes it. I would love to be proven wrong, even though I am like this is one of those games where like in the SEC, I wish that both teams could win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Vandy won, especially after the varied showings against Virginia Tech, the common opponent for these two. That being said, South Carolina evolved over the course of the Virginia Tech game and looked way better by the end of it than they did at the first half. It was also week 1, so there's a lot of jitters to shake out. I've got South Carolina taking it. I do think they're overall the better football team. I would not be sad on a personal note either way. In fact, I would probably be happier if Vandy won this particular matchup, but I can't in good faith go that route.
I can't follow him again.
You can't follow him again? You know what? So we talked before recording that we had a couple games that were hard to rank. I thought this one was my hardest to rank because historically, why would anyone pick Vanderbilt, right? But you take their head-to-head matchups here with both of them playing Virginia Tech. Vandy manhandled Virginia Tech at Virginia Tech. South Carolina was on a neutral field game, and they struggled that whole game. And honestly, South Carolina was struggling a bit last week in the beginning against South Carolina State at home. So they paid them $2 million to play this team, and they were looking sluggish at the beginning. They did obviously ended up blowing them out by like 30 points, but it wasn't a good start. So this one was my hardest one to pick because Vandy looks like the hotter team, but South Carolina has a better history. And I even have South Carolina making the playoffs too. That's such a rough one. Crazy. But some of my picks are already disappointing me. I'm taking Vandy. Go Commodores.
Good on you.
That's awesome.
Good on you. Way to have the guts to do it.
You know,
I like Vandy. You know, they're a team that they compete. Last year they went down to the wire with LSU in Death Valley, and we're gonna play them again this season in Nashville.
They can do it. They have what it takes to do it. It's just, can they?
I hope that they have another top 10 upset this season. I just hope it's South Carolina, not LSU. So let's see them shake up some schedules here.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you guys that I have a well, it's my sister-in-law's husband. Don't know what that's to me. We'll just call him brother-in-law. He works with the football team, the Vanderbilt football team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've got some inside information for you guys.
What's that?
Because of him.
Yeah.
South Carolina. They're not as good as we think they are.
How do you know that from your Vanderbilt connection?
No, I don't. I'm BSing. But for my eyes, I was so much higher on. I do have somebody related, that chiropractor, but that has nothing to do with it. No, I thought South Carolina. I was really high on South Carolina, and I'm kind of down on them right now. They just haven't come out the way that I thought they would. They could still prove me wrong. I think they're more talented than Vanderbilt, so I'm going to take them this week. But they need to show me something because I'm not as high on them.
That's fair. I have the same thing. Obviously, like Connor said, they definitely showed out better in the second half of that Virginia Tech game, but Vandy just crushed them. So
Yeah.
it's hard not to take the team that's looking a little hotter right now. I definitely think South Carolina could put it together at home against a historically bad team in Vandy, but I think this year could be special for Vandy. I don't know.
That would be awesome.
It would be cool. So I'm sticking with it. I'd love to see it. So I'm gonna manifest it here. It's gonna happen.
There you go.
Okay.
Even though once again,
want to borrow some voodoo dolls or something?
Yeah, I definitely need to, especially for whatever you did to Florida to make them to collapse like that. All right, and Chance, you're gonna have to lead with this one because this involves your team that you're so high on. This is our last highlighted pick, Duke at Tulane.
Okay, I do know these teams fairly well. I feel like, one because I know their QB really, really well.
Yeah,
and the other, I've picked them and I've dissected them a little bit. Tulane hasn't looked super great so far, in my opinion. They've done okay. You know, they beat an okay Northwestern team, but they kind of squeaked by. Tulane's quarterback, he can close out games and halves like nobody can believe. I mean, there was some miracles that he pulled off last year, Jake Retzlaff. But he can have the most boneheaded plays, turnover prone, just head scratchers. He hasn't thrown the ball very well this year. He's run the ball really well for some reason. He's not. I mean, he's athletic, but he's not crazy athletic. But he's done well. He doesn't play Duke though, the mighty Duke, who's going to take him out. I think Duke's more talented. Tulane has some players, but Duke, I think they're finally going to put together an offensive and defensive play and not turn over the ball. And they're going to show everybody when they don't turn over the ball what they're going to do.
Okay. I really am interested in what Connor has to say because he actually, while it wasn't like a hot take that he committed to, he actually a couple episodes ago said that Tulane was going to beat Ole Miss in a couple weeks. So how do you feel about Duke?
That's not what I said. I said that I found that game particularly interesting if Tulane tends to keeps trending upward.
Yeah.
That's what the criteria was exciting looking games. That being said, I am taking Tulane this weekend.
Ooh, Tulane over Duke.
Duke
Awesome.
looked sloppy when it counts. And
it's never going to get to that point.
Duke is definitely more talented. Obviously, they're more talented, but no chance. I believe in the green wave. I'm riding the wave, baby.
Okay, awesome.
That is interesting that the BYU fan doesn't believe in his old quarterback, while the not BYU fan does. So that's definitely interesting.
Do you know how many times Jake Retzlaff threw over 200 yards last year?
Okay,
Twice.
Very few. Yeah, times. Very few times. He got carried.
Darian Mensah
miraculous moments
threw an interception for every 80 yards of passing.
He has some miraculous moments, but yeah, he has some question marks.
No, this is definitely my risky pick for the week. I fully acknowledge that, but I'm willing to say it. I think that of the potential upsets this week, I think this one is the likeliest. But it would be an upset for sure.
Yep. I was originally going to ride with the green wave, but now Connor picked it, and I just don't believe in him. No, I'm kidding. No, to be honest, what Chance was saying, he has a lot of valid points. They struggled last week and won by 2 against South Alabama. It was on the road. I can give them that, but that is not a good showing. South Alabama. That doesn't give me hope. And while Duke looked really chaotic last week against Illinois at home, I can't see them doing another game where they turn the ball over 4 times and lose to a G5 team. A G5 team that I do think has hopes to get that last spot if USF trips a couple times, but man, I'm all about momentum, and they don't have the momentum if they struggle that hard with South Alabama. So I'm taking Duke, unfortunately.
Really, I think it's the leadership of Duke that will really propel them, if you're asking in my opinion.
Okay. Still don't believe in your pick, by the way, but this pick for an out-of-conference game, sure. I hope.
Well, this is also an intriguing matchup because didn't Darian Mensah transfer from Tulane?
Oh,
yeah. That's that, and it's fun. It's a very interesting matchup in a lot of ways.
So, that one could be interesting. I would find it more interesting if Tulane won, but I'm going with the Blue Devils, unfortunately.
All right,
that is our last highlighted pick of the week. We did 8 here, which is more than last week. And just for an update, it is very close because the first week I laid an egg, did not do very good. But the second week, 5-2, baby, 5-2. So
made up for it.
Back in it. Me and Connor are tied at 7-6, and Chance is behind by 1 game at 6-7. So it is a very close race so far.
Which kind of shows that none of us actually know anything.
No, we all suck.
Remember earlier when we were talking about the AP person, and how there's always some stupid people in organizations. Yeah. We're all actually just the stupid.
We're all the stupid people in our organization.
Unless Connor is making a pick for money picks, or Chance is picking USF for some reason.
Yeah,
we don't. No, I believe in these picks. I think this week is going to look a little bit better for us, but we shall see.
Pause. All right. Let's move on. That was fun. Pick'ems. It's becoming one of my favorite parts of this show. Speaking of the money picks, though, Chase, I appreciate that intro. The much more successful part, for some reason, of this season for me so far. I got our first round, 3-pick parlay. If you hit all 3 of these, that's plus 581, which means that a $20 bet would pay out $136. That is nearly 7xing your money, or so they tell me. So we've got Oregon, beating the spread against Northwestern. That's a 27.5-point favorite. Oregon, I'm not saying that they're going to win the title this year, although they could, but their offense has skipped no beats from last year, and Northwestern is not showing themselves to be very productive on the offensive end. So they're going to Northwestern. It's not going to matter that it's a road game. I think it's a colossal blowout in favor of the Ducks. The Ducks look like they're out for blood. People are not taking them seriously this year, and they know, and they are like out to get attention by crushing as many people in their way as possible. They're trying to embarrass people right now so that they can get their credibility back after what happened in the second Ohio State game last year, and I don't blame them. So, yeah, I think this is going to be, for a program that is already in rough shape as Northwestern, this is going to be a rough day for the Huskies. I don't even, is that their mascot? I think it's the Northwestern Huskies. Something like that. A dog of some kind.
It's not the Wildcats.
It's the Wildcats.
Is it the Wildcats? Oh, is it a cat? Are they the Wildcats?
Mm-hmm.
How many Wildcats are there? I don't even care right now.
There's a lot.
Anyway, see, that's how irrelevant they are.
There's a lot of Tigers and there's a lot of Wildcats. I'll just tell you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's, yeah. Huh. All right. Next, UConn beating the spread against Delaware. Like,
doubling down on UConn here.
okay, UConn is like actually a good, like, they're not a nationally relevant program this year, but like they are stepping up and they're like reshaping. They were down in the dumps. I mean, one of the worst teams for the last like 10, 15 years. But back in the day, people forget, like, they were a relevant team to the national team. They were like making New Year's Six Bowls on occasion. Like, they were putting up respectable seasons year in and year out. And then they got a coach that they just committed to way too hard, and it just destroyed the program. Not being in a conference also doesn't help them. But they're playing Delaware. Did you guys see they took Syracuse to overtime? And again, not like Syracuse is a powerhouse, but come on. It's Delaware. 10-point favorite for UConn after that, after taking Syracuse to overtime. Give me that one all day. Yeah, it's in Delaware. Yeah, Delaware is like the size of a football stadium, and so is Connecticut. There's going to be a lot of overlap in fans. That's not exactly a hostile environment. So Delaware's a pretty good FCS team, but it's week 3. UConn's going to have it. I'm confident taking them. Iowa State, their defense took a much bigger leap than I expected them to against Iowa last week. Playing them, and their offense has already proven that they can really take it. 21 points over Arkansas State. That's Arkansas State, everybody. Go Red Wolves. I've got them beating the spread on that one as well. I think Iowa State is playing with more and more confidence every week, and I think that after that Cy-Hawk Bowl victory, I think that they're going to be like, whew, made it through that defensive slugfest in the rivalry game. Let's go have some fun with this last non-conference matchup, and let's go take one more step. Let's put some points on the board. It's, again, at Arkansas State, but yeah, not exactly an imposing road environment. So unless these teams just lay an egg, all three of them, I do think that this is these are some solid picks, and I'll make sure to post any additional picks as the games come out. I might do a Friday special or something like that. We'll see. So, anyways, that's my pick: Oregon spread, UConn spread, Iowa State spread. Awesome. So cool. Then let's go ahead. Break into our top 5 list. Anybody mind if I go ahead and start off with this week's top 5 list?
Absolutely, Connor.
Sweet. Let's go. Top 5 list this week is top 5 Heisman favorites as of week 2. Obviously, this is a way too early list in a lot of ways now. Not a lot of data, but there are some emerging stars. And the way I structured my list was a couple of them were people to watch. As well. So number 5 right now, I have Justice Haynes, the Michigan running back. He is putting up some numbers. Again, this is just a Heisman watch list. I know obviously they lost that game, but Chase kind of alluded to that Bryce Underwood is not the guy. If there was a guy who was going to really turn some heads in this program throughout the rest of the season. He's already putting up big numbers, and if the team continues to be on a growth curve, you could see him being a big time dark horse, but he could carry this team offensively for the rest of the year, and he's already showing his ability to do that against SEC level talent. But number 5, guy to watch. So number 4, I probably am going to regret doing this again after what happened in 2024, but I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Carson Beck right now. If he continues to figure it out and Miami does continue to do it, and if he puts on a show this weekend against USF and shows that he can do what the others couldn't, then I think he would be making a very strong case for himself. He already played very well, particularly well in the first half, not as well in the second half. But I also think that Notre Dame stepped up in the second half, so I'm not willing to blame as much on him. He is looking confident. He is looking decisive. He trusts his receivers, and he's got a loaded receiver room. He really seems more comfortable than he did at Georgia. Number 4 as of week 2, just with the 2 data points to go off of, Carson Beck. Then, Chase, I will give him to you. Garrett Nussmeier. Number 3 to look out for right now. Dude's got something. He's got something special. I wouldn't be surprised if he's probably operating right now at the most overall, like as far as the overall role of the quarterback goes. He's got the biggest win under his belt, and he looks like it. He looks like the guy right now that everybody wants to be. He looks like the quarterback that everyone is chasing right now. Number 3, only, and now these next 2, I'm only putting over Nussmeier because they have shown like mind-blowing levels of play, and a lot of people didn't necessarily expect them to be as good as they've shown. There's a lot of football left, but again, 2 data points. Number 2, Byron Brown. I got to give it to him. He has not shown weakness yet. He just went into the swamp and prove that he can absolutely play with and beat the best of them. I mean, that's obviously a legendary caliber program at Florida. Maybe they're not as good as they thought they would be this year. I got no issues with putting Byron Brown on watch. Not saying he's going to win it, but there's only one other guy in the country right now who I can say has the same level of resume at this present time, and that is my number 1, Thomas Castellanos out of Florida State. Man, that guy is doing everything that Byron Brown has been doing and a little bit more. Yes, it was East Texas A&M, which can barely call themselves an FCS program. But they didn't have, like, they only got better, and I can't stand Alabama. I struggle to say anything good about them, and maybe they're not as good this year, but that was still Alabama, and that was a team that was not supposed to be as good. And his confidence level, his ability to bring up those around him and be the one-man army on his own, I'm putting him above it because Florida State's a bigger program, and therefore he has more opportunities this year to make a more solid resume. Even if him and Byron Brown's numbers are more similar, you have to give it to Castellanos. That guy is the most electric player in the country to watch right now, in my opinion. So, lots of people to watch. There were a couple others that I was considering throwing in there. I wanted to absolutely make sure I put a running back in there. There's a lot of good quarterbacks and a lot of football left to play. But right now, man, that guy is just dropping my jaw every time he takes the snap. So those are my picks. I am I got a conflict that I got to go take care of and resolve. So I am signing off for the rest of this episode. But week 2 was a blast. Week 1 was a blast. Week 0 was a blast. Week 3 is getting real. This is the last week of the main non-conference slate, and I'm super excited. Chance and Chase, go ahead and close this out. Thank you, everyone, for understanding, and I will see you next time, and I'll be posting our remaining Vegas picks throughout the rest of the week. So
Yeah,
we'll see
get
you
out
guys
of here,
later.
Connor. Get out of
Adios,
here.
Connor. Thank
We
you
don't like
for.
you or your picks.
Yeah, get out of here.
Bye, guys.
Remember when we were talking about the AP poll? We finally got that idiot out of here. Much better.
Yeah.
That's funny.
You'll be a lot more
I hope you
logically
heard that.
sound now, guys. I'm waiting to see the snap right before he leaves. Just
You know what? Usually we can't dog or talk about these picks as much, but since he's gone, how did you feel about his picks?
You know, I think he was trying to spread the love a little bit with the running back pick. I think some years you get some running backs in there. Like last year was dominated by a defensive guy and a running back. I think this year is going to be very quarterback heavy.
I only
don't
have
think there's gonna
quarterbacks
be
as
any-
well. Yeah, I tried so hard to find some because I was like, I
Mhm.
gotta show some love to somebody else, and I just can't see it.
Yeah.
It's quarterbacks this year. That's who I got.
It's probably going to be quarterbacks this year. I have one non-quarterback, and that's mainly off of reputation more than what I've seen from them so far. So I don't like his running back pick for that. And Castellanos is a fun watch, and I loved watching him kick Alabama's ass. But I don't know if he's ready for that kind of hype yet.
Have
to
you
be
seen the
the
stats?
number one pick? The number, of course, his stats are going to look pretty good.
They don't look good. They're not that
Oh
great.
yeah, no, he sat out in the third quarter or something. So
Yeah.
it's not like he's gonna have crazy amazing stats. So
Well,
I think he's great. I think he's a great quarterback that could win some games, possibly even compete for the ACC championship if they continue to perform. But number one, I don't know about that.
yeah, that was a little bit of a crazy pick, but I mean, we're all gonna have some. If you don't remember, we had a group chat.
I think I already know two of yours.
You know two of mine? Okay.
I think I do. Let's see.
Well, you remember in the group chat when we came up with this, I kind of teased that I had somebody in mind, and for the authenticity of the show, we don't talk about them because we want our live reactions here for you guys. We're not making this stuff up, right? So for that reason, I didn't give it away, but also I just told Chase, hey, if he does bad, I can always just change him.
Yeah.
I did not change him. It's the same number
Awesome.
one. So I'll go ahead. Number 5, I struggled a little bit with. I've got an interesting one. I don't know if I believe it so much, but I got Rocco Becht.
Okay.
He's off to an okay start. His team's doing well, and if he lights it up and they continue to well, I could see him kind of in the mix. I kind of like him. Number 4, you might rip me apart for. If this guy doesn't turn over the ball and they do what I think that they can do, Darian Mensah could be in the Heisman list.
Chance,
Have you
let
seen his
it
stats?
die.
Have you seen his stats?
Oh my god.
He's throwing for like 375 yards a game right now.
Oh man.
He's blowing it up. He's actually his stats are out of this world right now.
It's crazy that you're putting so much stock in a Duke quarterback, but go on. Go on, man. Go off, King. Let him cook.
Okay.
I say to myself because Connor's not here and I'm the only one interrupting. Let him cook.
Number 3, similar to Connor, I do. And by the way, these picks, for me at least, these are who I think are going to be the Heisman candidates in the end. It's not right now. It's not, if this thing goes right. It's like, this is how I envision it going. Number 3, Byron Brown. I do have him up there. And the reason being is, even if they lose to Miami, as long as they make it respectable, the rest of their games are cupcakes. And we've been talking about it. He's the biggest, baddest dude on the field. He's trucking people. He's been playing against decent teams. Imagine when he gets in conference and he's rolling over, I don't know, Navy's a bad example, but I mean like some of those lower tier Tulsa teams or whatever. Like he's going to put up superstar numbers and it's going to he's already got the wins under his belt. All he has to do is put up the numbers now. So I can see him being in there. Number 3. Number 2, this one's for you. I got Garrett Nussmeier. I can't pick him number 1 or else I'm gonna get the will. So he's got to be number 2. He's a talent, man. That guy's special. He really is. He's got the wind underneath him. I see a lot more wins. He's good. There's only one guy that I think might edge him out barely. And you know what? This guy, I think he looks a lot like a past Heisman. I think
Was he already mentioned this episode?
I did. I sure did.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah. You know who he looks like? He looks like Baker Mayfield to me.
Baker Mayfield. Yeah.
He does.
Say it.
John
Say it loud and proud.
Yep. That guy looks so good to me. He's got the swag of Baker. He's got the abilities of Baker. I mean, watching if you put Baker side by side but by him, there's some plays where you're like, this is the same player. It's incredible. And he's got probably a better defense than Baker ever had.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he might he doesn't have quite the weapons that Baker does, but man, he's got the swag that I can see him making it. So that's who I got number 1.
If there's one thing that Brent Venables has brought to Oklahoma, it is good defense. Like, they have had a good defense. It's just been offensive woes since he's been there. Unfortunately, since Lincoln Riley left, because that's who he was, an offensive-minded guy. And even before him, Oklahoma has been notoriously an offensive team that dominates. Yeah. And in that game, while there was some iffy things, he did throw a pick. Dude pumped up that crowd. He did have that Baker Mayfield energy. Even the announcers were saying that this dude gives a Baker Mayfield type vibe. And I do think that you might be onto something with this dude. I think he's found a home here, and I think he could be something interesting.
He also brings.
It's not like it's completely out there to say an Oklahoma quarterback wins.
I know, right? So hot take, right?
What is there, like 3 in the last 20 years, and then one that was a runner-up?
Yeah, that's true. But he even brings some of the Baker vibes of the off the field issues too, with his Venmo account and everything. Just being this white trashy, dude, bringing it out the field and kicking everybody's butts. It's fun. It's fun to watch for sure. But I mean, that I held this back from the bit, but that's why I'm so high on Oklahoma, and that's the difference between them and Michigan is. I think they might have a Heisman that transfer there, and Michigan certainly does not. And he's talented. The Michigan running back, what's his name again? Justice Haynes. Or no, sorry. What's his name? Anyway, he's talented. He got all of his yards on one play last game. I mean, yeah. He's going to be good. He's not Heisman good. He's not going to carry him like John Mateer can. So that's why I'm high on Oklahoma, because they've got the defense and they've got the dude.
I saw those sparks in that game, and obviously Michigan is a good defensive team, not so great on offense. So I think the pressure's a little bit off, knowing that their team isn't going to be scoring as much as yours. So, however, with him. And like I said, it's very easy to go into, OU's had these Heisman quarterbacks before, but they had it with an offensive-minded coach in Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
And before that with Sam Bradford, way back when. But I'm just not sure with that schedule, though. They have one of the toughest schedules, and I don't know. So I almost put him on this list. I did. I was impressed with what I saw from him, but I didn't. And you might not like some of mine.
That's fine. I knew that you weren't going to like some of mine. I know who you have number 1.
Duke? Yeah. It's really hard for people to figure that one out. All right. Well, as I did last week, I had to have an honorable mention. So I got to break the rules a little bit. I had one honorable mention. You're going to love him. He was the Heisman favorite at the beginning of the season. Arch Manning. I don't think he performed well at all. But they have, for an SEC schedule, a pretty reasonable schedule coming up. They have a lot of pipsqueak games and some games that aren't pipsqueaks, but I think he'll still put up points against them. And I think he will be in the conversation just based off of where he was at the beginning of the season and where he will be at the end of the season. So I don't have Texas winning it all. I don't have him winning the Heisman, but I do think he will be in the conversation simply because everybody wants to talk about Arch.
Yeah. Again, it's not me. It's Connor. That's your hater over there.
Yeah. So I do think we do give him some grief, and obviously a lot of the Texas fans like to take the part of the context that is insulting, but he's still going to be a great quarterback. I just don't think he's ready. I don't think this is the year for him. We'll see.
The critique that you can give him, because I do think he'll get there, and I think he can be something, is I think he should have been there by now, because it's year 3.
Yeah.
But he's a great talent, and I think he will get there.
I was honestly, and that's just more as a football fan. I wanted to see more years out of a kid, and he probably will stay there longer because of NIL. It's probably going to pay him more than the NFL. Right?
They've kind of indicated that he's a 4 or 5 year guy.
Yeah. His uncle even said that. No, he's staying at Texas. But I wanted to see him play, start within his first 2 years. I didn't need to see him as a true freshman, but a redshirt freshman, I was hoping to see him more. Quinn Ewers decided to come back, and it was hard to fight against it because he did have a solid season. But I wanted to see more of him. And I think even though they might have not done as well with him last year, I think it would have set him up better for this season if he'd had. So, but I do think he should be more developed right now. He's kind of having a slow development look, but his potential is high. Yeah. So I hope for better from him, even though it's at Texas. So, number 5. Dante Moore, quarterback of Oregon. Oregon is another team that is notorious for putting up crazy offensive stats. And they've had transfer quarterbacks there, and they've had regular quarterbacks there that have performed crazy numbers and been in the Heisman conversation constantly because that offense is booming constantly. And they're another Big Ten team with the benefit of a pretty weak Big Ten schedule. Oregon doesn't play Ohio State this season in the regular season. They don't even play Michigan. They play Penn State, and that one's on the road, and that one could be a tough one for them. But most of their games are looking like they should be blowouts. So I think that because of that lower tier of scheduling, and because of Oregon's history offensively, I think he'll be in the conversation with his stat line towards the end of the season. So. Number 4, another highly reputable player. The only player that I have that is not a quarterback. Is Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith. He had a tough start in that first game. Even though they won, he dropped 3 balls. That dude's still massively talented. Yes. Dude. I mean, there's going to be people calling for their quarterback to get it just because he's been performing well, and he did have an amazing stat line, obviously, against Grambling State. Right. But Jeremiah Smith is an amazing talent. I think it would be crazy to not expect him to be in the conversation at the end of the season.
I had him number 6.
Ohio State
so he was my honorable mention. Yeah.
It's hard to completely take him off a list that he was basically headlining as a wide receiver just because of one suboptimal game. I think he's going to still be in the conversation. I don't think he's going to win it. Once again, that's just because I think this year is a QB year by far. There's so many good-looking QBs that are going to be dominating stat-wise. I think it's just going to have to be a QB, but you never know. He's definitely talented. So. Number 3, I think a lot of us were a little too harsh on this kid in the offseason.
Nico?
Especially Connor. We're really rough on him, and he deserved it, apparently. I was playing devil's advocate for that kid. Damn. Win some games.
This is leadership, man.
Anyway. It's the eye test. Okay, Connor, with your pseudoscience and your unsighted shit. Okay. We love you, Connor. Just kidding. Anyway, number 3. We talked down on this man quite a bit in the offseason. But man, did he look good in game 1. Carson Beck, quarterback of Miami. That boy, dude, he, like Connor said before he left, he looks comfortable. Yeah. That is something that he did not have at Georgia, which is ridiculous because Georgia is such a reputable team that gets amazing recruits, top of the line recruits, especially out of the state of Georgia, which is one of the best states to get football players from. out of high school, and he comes to Miami and dude just looked comfortable. He didn't his offensive line. That's something that Connor didn't mention. His offensive line was amazing in that game. Carson was playing like he would never get touched ever. It was like he was playing flag football. He's not even worried. Like it's only been one game, so it's hard to put him any higher than 3, which 3 is still really nice. But dude had some good throws too. Some of them were just absolute laser beams, and obviously the catch that you love so much because that DB was
the safety.
I don't know what he was. It did look like a when I've gone back and watched that clip, it did look like a video game. It looked like I was playing EA Sports right there.
Where you're just so mad. You're like, what are you doing? You were in position.
You were there, and then he moved. Like, what are you doing? Do I have stick drift? What's going on? Like,
you watched? Am I crazy for sinking that?
No, you're not crazy. I don't know. That safety, I thought he was just being selfish, but when you look at the view that actually shows where he was in line, he moves over here to the left. His left. I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he just didn't want to get a PI call, I guess. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's better to just give a touchdown.
In college football, it's way better to take a PI because it's not a spot foul. It's a 15-yard penalty. So that would be stupid either way. But I don't know what he was doing. But that throw, while it was a little bit overthrown, amazing throw. It was an absolute laser, fucking perfect spiral. And then the wide receiver with that catch. He's got skill players. He's got an O-line. I think he's absolutely gonna be in the conversation this year.
Yeah.
He looked great.
He could be.
There's only 2 people I have over them. And one seems to be pretty well known here. So, but number 2, week 1 had me questioning this man a little bit. But the end of the game stat line for this dude was not bad. It's always been that his defense sucks. And while his defense sucks, that doesn't mean he's not going to put up points. And even with his defense sucking, that might mean he has to put up more points to win games or to compete. So because he's going to be constantly throwing in his air raid offense, I think Sawyer Robertson from Baylor is going to be in the conversation. Absolutely. That game against SMU this week, wow, that was such a fun game to watch. And it started off with that questionable muff punt. And I thought that SMU was going to walk away with that game after that. But Sawyer just kept that team in it. Their running back helped. Was it Michael Trigg? Their wide receiver played really well as well. But dude, he seems special on offense. And in the Big 12, with how we've seen other Big 12 teams disappoint, I think he's going to have great numbers just because the Big 12 is not looking great right now. So even if he doesn't win all these games, I think he's going to absolutely be there with those stats.
Yeah, that's my only worry with him is the wins.
Yeah, the wins can hurt you, but obviously, I mean, what was wasn't Lamar Jackson at like 3 losses?
Yeah, but you're talking about like the craziest dude on planet Earth. I mean,
yeah, no, he was an amazing Heisman, but I think more now you don't see it as much. These like, you know. I don't know. I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be in the conversation. Obviously, it's hard to blame him off of his terrible defense. You know, even last year with Garrett Nussmeier, I think his defense was letting him down hard. And Garrett, while I never expected him to compete for a Heisman last year, he made way too many mistakes for one. But he played amazing. So I think he'll still be in it as long as he doesn't lose too many games. And why I mentioned that I thought Baylor was going to do good this season was because of their weaker schedule. And not just the Big 12, just they have a weaker schedule inside the Big 12, even then. So they do have a big game coming up against ASU, but ASU, as we just saw, is inconsistent. So we'll see how that goes. But I still believe in Sawyer. Sawyer. That's how his mom pronounces it. And she wants people to say that. So
what is he, from West Virginia?
I don't know, but you know, that's his name. You got to support it. So. And number 1, as my list last week was so obvious as I rolled my eyes. Number 1, Garrett Nussmeier, quarterback at LSU. You guys said it in your list. Dude's special. I don't have him going undefeated this year, but I think he's going to win games. He's starting off a little bit sluggish. I think he's just, he's trying not to make the mistakes he made last year. And that I appreciate because he doesn't have to try so hard this season because his defense is behind him. His defense is there, and he doesn't have to make these ridiculous plays that he did last season. So they do have a tough schedule, but I do think that he is the front runner for a reason. So, in my mind, at least, and also in some Vegas odds. So,
Yeah. No, I like him.
go Garrett.
I like him.
So,
The only pick
that-
where I'm
that is my-
a little questionable is Tommy, like you. I mean, and maybe the guy lights it up, but number one, I don't know. We'll see. Tommy
Which one?
Castellanos.
Oh, for Connor. I
No,
thought you
no,
were talking
no.
about my
That's
list. I was like,
overall of our list. That's the only one I'm like, oh, I don't know about that.
To be fair, I was wrong. I knew you were gonna say Mateer. I did know you were gonna say Mateer, but I thought, well, his stats are definitely not that great. I thought you were gonna double back on your first review of Utah and put Dampier.
Oh, I told you I didn't think he was a Heisman, but he was good.
I know, but I thought you were doubting yourself for a second. I thought you were gonna put him as a 5 or maybe like an honorable mention, like I was doing. I was waiting for that one. I didn't think that he was gonna be at the top at any means, but I thought he might sneak in there.
No, I think he's good, but I don't think he has to be Superman, and I don't think he is. I mean, he I don't know. I mean, he could do some stuff. Well, we're just gonna have to see. I'm not that committed on him yet, though.
Yeah, no, he had a great game against UCLA, but so did UNLV.
Yeah, I'm not a it's hard bar to pass apparently.
Yeah, clearly, I can't. I'm so mad at myself for picking that team twice, but you know, I'm not. I'm loyal. I don't like to jump ship that quick, you know. So, and I picked the games too, for the most part of what we were picking, and I had to pick UCLA at UNLV because I wanted Connor to be annoyed that he had to pick one.
By the way, when we were off air, you were in another room. Viewers weren't here. He said, "Yeah, UNLV keeps getting better every week." And I was like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yeah, that team that played last week wouldn't have been down to Idaho State." I was like, "Oh, what do you think that is? Do you think it might be, I don't know, coaching?" He's like, "Yeah, well, obviously it's coaching." I was like, "Oh, man, they must have a wonderful coach." He's like, "Shut up," you know?
I love that you made Connor, who lives in Idaho, sound like Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah. Sure. He's still an idiot.
Just for the record, and he might deny it, but to everybody out there, he accredited UNLV's progress to a good coach. Who would have known? I got one game for us that we can talk about before we go. Arkansas and Ole Miss.
Interesting.
So, you know who has been putting up some numbers, by the way? Speaking of Heisman and some players. What about Taylon Green? He looks pretty good this year so far. Granted, he does have 2 interceptions, which is kind of his MO, but I mean, he's thrown for about 250 270 a game and rushing for about 100 a game right now. Pretty good.
Yeah, he's had some good performances so far. I mean, granted, they were against Alabama A&M and Arkansas State.
That's fair.
But
that guy, okay, so I've watched him when he was Boise State up here. He looks like Byron Brown, and you're like, this guy's massive and he can truck anybody. He's like, when is he gonna take that step? Like, the dude has all the tools to be Cam Newton, but it just seems like it's just never gonna completely click. I don't know, but is there any way that Arkansas can pull off this win?
Arkansas did play spoiler for Tennessee last season. Granted, they were at home, so Arkansas does have the ability to upset some teams. They've done it to LSU in the past. Even that is the rivalry for the boot for us. So, but I think that Ole Miss is just a better coached team. They get a lot of really good recruits at Ole Miss. Maybe not as good as some of the more front runner teams, but Ole Miss is favored by quite a bit in this one. So I think Ole Miss will win. It's at home. It's a hard one to give to Arkansas, but they could surprise some people.
The over under is at 60 in the game. Quite a few points.
60. A shootout in an Ole Miss game? That's crazy.
Do we completely trust Austin Simmons? We're going off of one drive last year.
No, he's not had a very good season so far. I mean, he struggled against Kentucky. He really struggled against Kentucky, and his stat line right now is not looking good.
Well,
I mean, he's 33 of 55 for 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
So who's better, Kentucky or Arkansas?
I think that who's better, Kentucky or Arkansas? Kentucky defensively.
They've got a defense for sure.
They constantly they don't give up big plays. They are constantly a bend, don't break defense, and they don't give up big plays very often. So they definitely stunted him in that game, and I don't think Arkansas has the defensive capabilities to do that to that.
But did they have more offense?
But they have a much better offense.
Well, that's what I'm going at. I mean, you don't need to have a great defense if you just pick them off. You get some turnovers and you got a great offense, and you might win.
Yeah, when a team makes a crap ton of turnovers like Duke did last week, the other team is going to be in the driver's seat for sure. But this Simmons has made a lot of mistakes so far, but I don't feel like the Razorback defense is going to be able to cause that many turnovers. So maybe they get 1, maybe even 2. I think they need to win the turnover margin by like 3 for Arkansas to have a chance. So that means you can't turn the ball over like at all, and you have to cause some turnovers. So if that happens, they have a chance to win against a ranked opponent.
I don't have Arkansas, but I can see it happening at least. It wouldn't completely shock me like Mississippi State, but could happen.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely not a complete sleeper. So.
All right. Well, I think that's all we got this week. Let us know in the comments, guys. Are we crazy? Do we not know what we're talking about? Should we be fired from the AP poll? Should we be fired from the show? Just let us know in the comments. We love to see you hate us, and we love it even more when Stan comes in. Please come back, Stan.
We miss
Stan,
you, Stan.
We need you. We miss you.
We miss you.
All right, that's all. Signing off. This is Chance. That's Chase. We'll see you next week, guys.